Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, California. It's very warm here today. It's a nice summer day that, well, you can go enjoy a little bit. You can go out and take a walk, and that's not so bad. But, yeah. Had a good live stream yesterday. Last evening, just a few hours ago, with Doomcock on the Inquisition. It was a hell of a show. So when he posts it on the Harvey Zone, please go check it out. Last couple weeks have been extra salty and good, I thought. And, let me fix that. We cannot see all the chat there. I apologize. I will fix that immediately, and we will get that to live chat as well. So let's do that. Should have probably taken care of that beforehand, but it is what it is. Let's see who's here. Trace Adams, Office Truffles, Mesut Sayer, Revan, Halam 899, Herman Sheeplemeyer. Herman Sheeplemeyer? Are you one of the sheeple? Chief Wiggy, Cthulhu Bob, Great Wuta, Rennie A., Jesse Howley, Mark Santos, who is a member, hail, David Rose, Night Mask, Hellhound ED, or is it Ed? Hellhound Ed, that's probably what it is, dumbass. Princess, and that's me, by the way, Princess Raimbobs X Masashi, I'll just say Sashi, hi. Judicon, what's up? Andy Morley, what's up? Aiden Hamilton, what is up? Alex Rogan's Ghost. I'm very sorry to hear about your passing, Alex, but, you're here anyway, and we appreciate that. I do not discriminate whether you're corporeal or non-corporeal. Thomas Preston, terrible vision. Oh, that's me without my glasses for sure. Roy Smith and Rob Slevin, who is a member. Greetings, everyone. Hail. It was a good week for fandom. So give yourselves a round of applause. Welcome to the new era, Hollywood, where fandom does have a say, and you either deal with it or you don't. You either win or you lose, because the fandom never loses, just like the internet never loses. We might take a defeat. Losing Star Wars sucks. Losing Doctor Who sucks. Losing Star Trek sucks. But in the end, the people who run these IPs, it's going to be the people who take over, because what's going to happen probably within the next year or so is you're going to see a lot of turnover in some of these companies, because they now actually need to make money. So the higher ups who have Ike Perlmutter is a great example of this at Marvel, and Bob Iger at Disney. Well, he's way too involved with this stuff, but there's a lot of higher ups who are just not involved with what they own until the shit hits the fan. And then they start noticing, and they start taking appropriate measures. And the games that have been played over the last 3-4 years, deconstructing, let's not use the word deconstruct, let's use the word demolishing our American mythos, our international mythos, our favorite heroes, Luke Skywalker. I mean, with Luke Skywalker, it's been slow and methodical, and that was the plan from the very beginning. Not sure if George Lucas was aware of this plan. I don't think so. Kathleen Kennedy certainly was. And the plan was to make Leia front and center in Star Wars, and still is, which she kind of was anyway. So I don't know what they're doing with this methodical deconstruction of Lucas's original trilogy is working their way towards remaking it. I've said it for a long time, and we see all the signs. Now, that comic that made the rounds thanks to the great Ichibaka, and I think he got it from Kiwi Farms, and I'm not too sure before that. So if there's somebody I need to give credit to, please let me know, and I will. But I found out through Ichibaka. Please follow him on Twitter. Check out his YouTube, and his Disney Star Wars is Dumb is brilliant. And we saw the comic or the graphic novel of Luke Skywalker and how they, feminized him. He's got I'm looking at the picture right now. He's got the soy face on, and it's, that's all part of the plan. And it's old, so I bought it on Kindle, and I browsed through it, and that is the least. There's a lot of changes they make, and you're like, it's a kid's book, no big deal. And it really isn't if it's, in isolation by itself, if it's just a one-off. But we're seeing this over and over and over again. Of course, it's The Last Jedi. We don't need to have that argument here. And, well, you call it a pattern when you see it in Star Trek and Doctor Who and Marvel Comics and DC Comics. What Tom King did to Batman was a slow deconstruction of that character, slow demolishing of that character. Spider-Man has been demolished, I would say, in the MCU as well. But there might be people who might argue with me, but we'll see. We'll see how things turn out. If I'm wrong, great. And of course, Captain America, Iron Man have been done away with. But the worst case still is, as bad as this is with Luke, the worst case still is Doctor Who. What happened to Doctor Who? Now, I know a lot of you don't watch Doctor Who, but a lot of you have at least shown sympathy to your fellow fan, which I do appreciate. A lot of us do. And, we are all in this together. And the reason, it can't be understated. The reason YouTube channels have grown is because you guys feel like you had nowhere else to go. You feel like your voice was taken away. So, we are accused quite often of being an echo chamber, but that's usually projection from the access media. And the one thing that has become crystal clear at this point is the access media is beyond irrelevant at this point. They, the media used to be a very necessary thing when it was about the people. And they have completely forgotten who they are accountable to, and that is you. You are the one who clicks. You are the one who clicks on the ads. Do you think any of the people they interview click on their ads, even go to their websites, or even know who the hell they are? The amount of work you have to put in to kiss that much ass to get a 5-minute interview with a movie star who will forget you in 5 seconds after it's done is you could put that same amount of work in and just please the fans. That's what it should be about. Bounding into Comics tries to be about that. And if you put that much work into just doing your job, being impartial, telling the truth, your website would still be around. It would be hugely successful because you would be breaking the narrative. And that's why we have Bounding into Comics, who gets a lot of shit because they certainly have their biases, and they're not. It's no secret. John F. Trent's a pretty honest guy. He's an upfront guy, and he's was on Friday Night Tights, and we will have him back. He's a good friend. He's a good guy, and people. Unfortunately, the access media thinks you're dumb. They've always thought you were dumb. They think it's dangerous. It's dangerous now that the precedent that has been set with release the Snyder Cut. It's dangerous because the access media has lost, not losing. They have lost their influence. I think a great example. It's a small example, but I think it's a great example. Rich Johnston, Bleeding Cool. Now, there was a time where every hardcore comic fan, every comic shop, everybody involved in the industry used to go to Bleeding Cool, Newsarama, CBR, and they had influence. And there was a time where at least it felt like they were trying to be impartial. At least they started out that way. Especially Newsarama. Newsarama used to be good way back in the day. But slowly, they got bought up by giant corporations. Slowly, they became about the creatives and the corporations and not about the fans. And people just left. They started closing down they shut you down. The comment sections were gone, and forums gone. And here we are. Now, YouTube is doing its fair share of silencing as well, which is a problem, which I hope goes away, but it won't. Unfortunately, we all knew this year things would get particularly bad, and we're seeing it happen. I think it's being fast forwarded due to the beer bug, but it's disturbing, and I think a lot of content creators are thinking about it. But right now, at least as far as fandom is concerned, I won't say about real world politics and stuff like that, but as far as fandom is concerned, we can say pretty much what we want right now. And we have to stay here. But the access media has just taken it in the shorts the last week, and it's been glorious. I love some good schadenfreude. I really do. I really do. And I love it when the fans win, and they won with Sonic. And now we have released the Snyder Cut. Now, there's a lot of questions out there, and they would be very good, fair questions. Warner Brothers did produce Batwoman. Warner Brothers did produce Birds of Prey. They produce everything on the CW. So there's that. But it seems like the new regime at least wants to listen to the fans. Now, we'll see how this plays out. This is just a victory. This is just a little victory. But it's a solid one. The fandom menace didn't change Star Wars. I mean, they're still screwing it up with the arrival of the Karens. I guess the Karens have always been there, but the Karens are coming. And Doctor Who was a complete loss. I mean, that's what we're dealing with, the loss of Doctor Who and Star Trek Picard. There's an article that came out. I'm working on a video on it right now, but we'll go over it a little bit today. Doomcock did a great video on it, some of his best work. So when you have a chance to go take a look at that, the humbling of Admiral Jean-Luc Picard. And this article came from StarTrek.com. And it is equal to the admission of Michael Chabon saying that they wrote certain aspects of the script of Picard to piss off fans. And I don't think that can be undersold either. I will bring that up all the time because that's equal to the access media admitting that they were the access media. I did that video about a year ago where a guy from a sci-fi.com podcast admitted that they throw softballs so they can maintain their access. We all knew this, but it's nice to hear it out loud. So Michael Chabon says, yeah, we troll the fans. I'm paraphrasing, but we troll the fans on purpose because we know it's going to piss them off. Well, I can make the argument after reading that article on CBS that we will go over that Picard was a troll. The whole thing, the intention, the motivation behind the whole thing was to extend a middle finger to the fandom. And everything else came second. It is just it is part of the DNA of that script. So we will bring that up here as people roll in. Where we go? The humbling of Picard. There it is, right there. Some of the language used in this is unbelievable. It really is. Oh, Corey be nerding bro for $1.99. Why does Luke look like Jodie Foster? Because he really does, doesn't he? Because that's probably what they based it on. The feminization of Star Wars is all throughout that graphic novel. It's $11.99. It's available on Amazon. It's not on Comixology. So I think it's more of a scholastic thing. And that's where, I'm very happy in a way for Snowflake and Safe Space, because I think that announcement with the announcement of California being locked down really brought to the forefront the crisis that is the comic shop crisis. And because of that, everybody is starting to see the connection with entertainment and comics, and how comics was a proving ground for a lot of the stuff we're seeing. It was where they got to experiment with swapping genders. I mean, they've been doing it for years, but they really went overboard, we'll say, over the last few years. They went nuts. And they, listen, the one political side, the fundamental political side, had free reign for years. Now that is over. The Access media is sensing that. That's why they're melting down over something as harmless as release the Snyder Cut. Again, I don't know why anybody would be against that. The only thing I can think of is a need for clicks, which we all need, by the way, here on YouTube. But you can get them genuinely, or you can make shit up. So I think any rage over release the Snyder Cut is either motivated by Disney, because you're just a Disney shill, or you just need attention. I don't know. You can not like it. You can think it's lame. You can go, oh, we're going to get just another crappy version of Justice League. Those are all arguments that are fine with me. But being against it coming out, knowing what happened to Zack Snyder, just on a human level, it's a cool story. But apparently to some it's not. So, and that's that human thing we're talking about. Some people have a hard time with that. So JPRPH1 for $4.99. Hail Gary, awesome interview with Mark Zickery. Thank you very much. He sure has a great positive attitude. He is everything that is good in Hollywood. There are some very good people in Hollywood. Maybe I don't point that out enough, and I will start pointing that out more. Tom Constantino, the producer of The Orville, is a good human being. Seth MacFarlane is cool. He likes the fandom. You might not agree with him politically at all, but I know I've heard this directly from him, that he is all about discourse. He likes to hear from the other side. He doesn't want to silence anybody. So that's all we ask. You don't have to change anything. We don't have to agree. You just have to listen to the other side. That's all. It's good customer service, that alt-right dog whistle. But yeah, Mark, what Mark wants, I mean, just go to his channel and check him out. He's real. He'll point out, I mean, this guy has written for Star Trek, but he's still, he's been around Hollywood long enough, and he has good enough relationships where he can speak his mind. And that's a rare thing. Scottish Nerd, thank you for the phallic unicorn for $1.49. I greatly appreciate it. Adam Child is here for $5. Have you read the Don R. Schmidt UFO Roswell books? I found them, and now more than ever, I believe something happened in 47. Oh, I always have. I have not read those. Well, I don't know if maybe I did. I'll have to look. The name doesn't ring a bell. The name doesn't ring a bell. Okay, let's go to this article, shall we? Okay, there we go. I'm going to have to resize this, so bear with me. boop, boop, boop. You can see my bottom half there. All right. So, the headline, which you can't read, says, "The humbling of Admiral Picard. On Star Trek, Picard, our beloved Admiral, is forced to reckon with his privilege as Starfleet officer from a planetary superpower." As a Starfleet officer from a planetary superpower. This is, by the way, this is from StarTrek.com. Star Trek has always dealt in stories about interspecies and cross-cultural interactions, and the way each franchise tells the stories is a commentary on the era that produced them. Star Trek Picard is no exception. Well, it is, actually, because anybody who's watched Star Trek, doesn't matter if you watched every single episode or part of the episodes. If you've watched 10 episodes over the period of your life, you get a gist of what it's about, okay? Don't need to be an expert to get the tone of Star Trek. And tonally, it was very consistent from its inception to, with varying degrees, to the end of Enterprise, and that's because of Gene Roddenberry, Rick Berman, a lot of people involved, and kept it Star Trek. Now, what Kurtzman has done, obviously, is try to make it something it isn't, because they feel like, in the beginning, they felt like there was an untapped potential, and instead of taking your basic formula and making changes to expand it a little, it's like extending your boundaries. You don't try to, you experiment with it. All right. Alex Kurtzman's ambition cannot be questioned. His talent can. And Star Trek will never be Star Wars. Star Trek 2009, while an entertaining movie to a lot of people, was the worst thing to ever happen to Star Trek. Alex Kurtzman being the second. Because he's a wannabe Jar Jar Abrams. As bad as Jar Jar Abrams is, Alex Kurtzman is much worse. In 2020, representation and inclusion. Oh, this is my favorite sentence. So I'm gonna read it slowly. In 2020, representation and inclusion have just as much, if not more, importance than diversity. So remember when a lot of us here in this YouTube sphere have said they don't give a crap about your cause? They will move on to the next one, leave you behind. Exhibit A through Z. I don't know exactly what that means. Representation and inclusion is much more important than diversity. But this is the world of Hollywood. So claiming to be an ally to marginalized people without acknowledging your own privilege. You notice they didn't say our privilege. They said your privilege in this article. Your own privilege feels hollow. Picard's ensemble of writers, and we're using air quotes on that, and actors lean into all of this without a doubt. Even number one, the dog, represents a marginalized community. The dog represents a marginalized community. I've been marginalizing my dogs this whole time. I should probably set them free. Oh, by the way, and I said this last night, here in San Francisco, you can't own a dog. You're a dog guardian, but you're not a dog owner. True story. Unless they changed it back. Serving up a multi-layered narrative that explores how power and privilege play out in relationships with people who are different. One of the reasons why they chose the synthetic storyline is because it's about othering, theorizes Dr. Thomas Parham III, an African-American communications professor and author of Hailing Frequencies Open, Communication in Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's all about othering. It's all about othering. Well, I went and looked up othering because, listen, I don't know what the hell othering is, but apparently it's the opposite of saming. And I'm not kidding. And I looked up a Guardian article that called othering one of the most evil things out there. So And the Guardian is not exactly hardcore right wing. So, and that's going to be part of my video. But yeah, othering. It's part of othering. One of those constructs that affluent societies make up because, they're very comfortable in their very rich universities and they have time to think about this shit. And that's good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it's all in the execution. And unfortunately, Alex Kurtzman's only execution was the execution of Star Trek. While TNG positioned Captain Picard as an ally to marginalized groups from Klingons. Okay. Can we do a Tim Pool hard stop right there? I talked about this last night. Are Klingons a marginalized people? The Klingon Empire is a marginalized people? I don't think so. I think they do their fair share of marginalizing. But, oh, wow. That's unprofessional. There we go. That high quality you come to expect here at Nerdrotic, I know. Oh. Now, there might have been times you can argue they were, certainly. But no, I don't see it. To androids, to the marginalized people that are androids. Well, they were certainly marginalized in Picard, but I think a pretty good argument could be made that everyone had every right to be scared to death of those androids who murdered 90,000 people on Mars and wanted to wipe out the entire galaxy. But they had every right because they felt marginalized. So the message from Picard is if you feel bad, it's okay to commit genocide, basically. Picard challenges him to check the privilege he's enjoyed through various series as an able-bodied male Earthling of elevated Starfleet rank. Because he was just given that rank, right? I just cringed really hard. Sorry. Oh. I'm not going to make it through this thing. It's one thing reading it by yourself, but Here are 6 times Picard called Picard out during season 1. Picard is finally getting old. Well, CBS has seen fit to that. And yes, you decided to hire a 79-year-old lead to shame him. Oh, by the way, this is all Patrick Stewart's idea. This is Alex Kurtzman, Shaban wrote his idea. Now, his pitch, I'm sure his pitch was, yes, I think it should be about Brexit and the Orange Man. Go. Make it show, Kurtzman. And they did. While Picard is used to talking about other people, his titular show finds the Admiral at 93 now, needing other people to take care of him. He is in no position to save anybody, and, in fact, his inability to do so results in Daj's untimely death. Okay. Seeing that I watched the show, if some of you did not, you are better human beings for it. Like, it took years off my life, and I lost brain cells, like more than all the acid I dropped in the 80s. So, Daj got herself killed. Picard was minding his own business, wallowing in misery at Chateau Picard, because, like, I always want to live in the place where my brother and his wife and his child died horribly. That's the first place I would go and live. I would rebuild it and live right there. So he's wallowing in misery, minding his own business, and Robot Girl has a vision, because this is just quintessential contrived storytelling, has a vision of Picard and just ends up at his house. There's no, I don't know how she got there. It could have been a shuttlecraft, but I'm guessing she beamed over there, and there's no transporter inhibitors anywhere. There's no security system. She just walked up. The dog barked. Now, the dog didn't bark for the Romulans, but the dog barked for her. She shows up, enters into his life, holds her necklace so everybody can go, that's such an unusual necklace you have. Doesn't give her name. Then He goes to Starfleet, to the archives. He's on Starfleet. He's at Starfleet. She shows up again. So I guess Starfleet just lets anybody willy-nilly beam in there, and they're not tracking her or anything. And she shows up there. She finds him, who is still probably a very valuable asset to Starfleet. So they mention that he is being tracked, but you have to have a high security clearance to track him. Wouldn't he have like a panic transport, like a panic room? Since he is a valuable asset, maybe, the Romulans or any other enemy would want to kidnap Picard. And so he has an emergency, a little button that just beams you to a safe room or something like that. Seeing that you're, on a Starfleet facility. But she rolls up, then she senses through the Force, somehow she can sense that the Romulans are coming. She takes them upstairs. They don't beam her out. Nobody beams anywhere. And there's no Starfleet security anywhere. I guess they were all in a lunch break. And then she jumps 50 feet, fights everybody, and gets herself killed. She gets herself killed. Stupid. Picard, despite this, Picard still seems to view himself as at least a little immortal. He embarks on a mission with a brain abnormality that could kill him. As Dr. Moritz Benayoun warns, being agile and able-bodied is a privilege Picard has taken for granted. Oh. Being able-bodied is a privilege. Clown world. It is certainly something you don't want to take for granted. I will agree with that. It's something you don't want to flaunt in front of anybody who isn't. I agree with that. That's just manners. As far as privilege, I think you're just... so being able-bodied is a privilege you're born with. Okay. All right. Even after his Borg assimilation and the lack of it becomes a crucial plot device that carries through the season finale. Yeah, one that just came up that he was completely over, that just came back again for some reason because of a plot convenience. Picard is no longer relevant. Again, I will say thanks to CBS. You are absolutely correct. Picard is no longer relevant. This show is in the crapper. If you guys remember, maybe you don't, and that's fine. I check Rotten Tomatoes audience score all the time. So when Picard was in its 4th episode, it had an audience score of 86%. It now has an audience score of 59%. That's not due to bots or brigading. That is the people who watched the show didn't like it. Not being relevant is the ultimate slap in the face for high-profile people used to calling the shots. That is Hollywood projection right there. That is the worst. I mean, right there is, if you want to know how to get to somebody in Hollywood, that's how you do it. You call them irrelevant. You accuse them of being irrelevant. A has-been, man, that cuts deep. That cuts deeper than anything. Picard is visibly bothered when a Starfleet receptionist asks him his name when he arrives for his meeting with Admiral Clancy. Sheer fucking hubris. She, too, takes him down a peg, calling out his sheer effing hubris for even showing up with a request for reassignment, calling his Tal Shiar conspiracy theory the delusions of a once great man desperate to matter. Ironically, Picard seems to have thought that asking for temporary reinstatement, a skeleton crew, and a low-class ship was an act of humility. In a way, though, it was, actually. It was. Okay. This is coming from the perspective, folks, of privilege is because you've worked hard for something, you do not deserve respect. You were just given that due to your privilege. You do not work hard. This is the common theme throughout all entertainment right now, which is still the ultimate meritocracy. They don't believe in any of this crap, by the way. Sure, they'll give the actress who plays Dodge, I don't know how she got the role because she's terrible. But sure, some people get roles. Well, you can fill in the blanks. That still happens. But for the most part, you still have to be talented, and more importantly, you need to know how to work Hollywood. Picard's irrelevance works out in his favor, since his eventual crew only really identifies with his mission when it becomes clear that he is a lost cause. Which makes no sense. His resignation wrecked his relationships. With who? With this new person? Yeah, no. With Raffi? So they blame... Okay, this is the worst part. When Picard finally does try to reconnect with them, they're not having it. And with good reason. While he's been writing out his post-resignation massive pity party and shame spiral in a luxurious Chateau Picard, Raffi's been sinking into the depths of humiliation, rage, and substance abuse, which is a horrible message sent by ignorant a-holes. The ignorant a-holes, Heather Caden, the ignorant a-hole, Michael Chabon, the ignorant a-hole, Akiva Goldsman, and the king ignorant a-hole, Alex Kurtzman. I'm sure they're all familiar with substance abuse because they work in Hollywood. So, yeah, it doesn't work like that. When you fall into shame and rage and substance abuse, I'll use my I statements because this is how we do it. It is my fault. It is my responsibility. And only I can bring myself out of that. And nobody put me there. Nobody put me there. Morons. But I expect nothing less from Berkeley's own Birkenstock-wearing Michael Chabon and Alex Kurtzman. Twat waffle. And he just keeps messing up. Well, it's because you wrote it that way. I don't know how Picard messed up by trying to save people. If the people don't want to be saved, it's not his problem. He doesn't have to save these people. He did his best, and they're alive, aren't they? They didn't get burned up in a supernova. They're alive. And what? The Romulans are going to sit and wait for a white savior? I don't think so. I think they would do something. And it was such an inconsistent argument, even within that episode. Starfleet has failed you all. No, CBS has failed us all. CBS has failed us all. But he's still organic. Well, he's not really organic anymore. He's dead. They killed him. They made a robot copy of Picard so he can experience a life as a marginalized synthetic. That's what they said. That's what Akiva Goldsman and Michael Chabon said. That's not me. His friends make him a better person. No, you can make yourself. You want to surround yourself with good people, and friends are awesome. They help a lot. But he wasn't a better person within the show. He was pathetic. And that's what they set out to do. I can't read the rest of this. It's dumb. Let's get to you guys. By the way, that is from StarTrek.com. That is from StarTrek.com. The people who said, what the hell? I'm going to read it. Let's get to Michael Chabon and his statement in Variety. I read it in the review. It's going to be reread in my video. And this, honestly, if the author... Oh, what the hell is going on here? There we go. Here we go. Here we are. Oh, crap. So, and listen, if the author Stephen Walton is out there, I mean, far be it for me to suggest what should go in the Fandom Menace Volume 62, but I would put this in here because I think this is an important admission that we should never, ever, ever, ever forget. And again, I am going to replace the word fandom and fan with customer. Okay, so were there things about Picard that you knew you wanted to do that you could sense would test some boundaries for fans, the paying customer? Sure, says Michael Chabon, to the extent that I was aware of a kind of toxic paying customer, the anti-SJW, sad little corner of paying customers. You just disregard that customer. Sometimes you're motivated to have things simply because it's possibly going to piss off or provoke the customer who seemed to have missed the memo about just what exactly Star Trek is and always has been about, said the man who quit after one season. Spoken like a true citizen of Berkeley. Let that one go into the record permanently. And do not forget it. Why, I admire his candor. It's a stupid thing to say. And then they come out with this article. CBS they're dumb. It's America's dumbest corporation. Quite honestly, I mean, they were never going to do anything with Star Trek. This is a network that, I mean, it caters to, I mean, they call like Fox News old, but like CBS, CSI, procedural TV show. I mean, that's what they're known for. Their heyday was a long time ago. They're dead as a network, and they rely on sports ball a lot. Their flagship Star Trek it's sinking right now. So much so they had to capitulate and come out with Strange New Worlds, which is an absolute admission of failure. When they come out and say, I'm spoiling my video a little bit, but when they come out and say, we're going to be more positive and episodic, well, who's been saying that? Who was the one or two actors we liked from Star Trek Discovery? Well, it was Anson Mount and Rebecca Romijn. Now, if they write Rebecca Romijn like they did in the short treks, no thanks. You know what? That little video they did on Twitter introducing the show had more heart in it than the entirety of Kurtzman Trek. That's probably the best thing they've ever produced, was that little introduction video. Adam Child, Lee Mary doesn't need an X-Wing. Oh, okay. Lee Mary doesn't need an X-Wing to destroy the Death Star. She could Mary Poppins her way. You meant to say Leia. Leia Mary Sue doesn't need an X-Wing to destroy the Death Star. She can Mary Poppins her way through it, taking out all the bad men with a smile. Yes, of course. When they remake the original trilogy, it will be Leia in the cockpit of the X-Wing. Yes, the cockpit. Stunning and brave, kind of like the Special Olympics, says Agent Zero for $5. The Special Olympics are, in reality, more genuine, have more heart than Hollywood ever will. There's nothing stunning and brave about Hollywood. There's nothing brave about Hollywood. Everything they do is cowardice. Because it's what I spoke about earlier. They're in constant fear. That's why they seem miserable, because a lot of them are. There's confident people like Mark Zickery. Mark Zickery's a confident dude. Those people are fine. Seth MacFarlane's fine. Tom Constantino's fine. But the people who just are constantly worried about their relevance more than their craft, more than the art itself. David Lynch is all about his art, right? Have you seen his weather reports he's been doing, which are kind of funny? Yeah. But he's a rare breed. And it's mostly Alex Kurtzman. Alex Kurtzman doesn't make Star Trek to make good Star Trek. He makes Star Trek so he can be known as the guy who runs Star Trek. That's it. Hail, Gary. Yesterday was my birthday. Celebrating today. Glad to have a live while I make dinner. Hail, all. Well, have a good dinner. Jody Bowie for $5. Thank you very much. And happy birthday, Jody. Happy birthday. Is it dinner time already? God, it's only 8 minutes to 1 here. Albatross Flight for $2. They made Luke Skywalker look like a grandmother. Yes, with the feathered hair. I mean, that is something else. It really is. Let me pull up my my tweet here. Oh, I also got to show. What's this? Oh, we got to read this. Okay, Rob, don't blame the fandom. This isn't the fandom. This is the Access Media, bro. Okay, breaking news. CBR wrote a stupid article, okay? But I love Robert Meyer Burnett, but he's misguided on his tweet. So I'm going to show this real quick. And by the way, I love Robert Meyer Burnett unconditionally. We can all, crap, I just lost it. Damn it. We'll see if it's down there. All right, so Robert Meyer Burnett wrote "Do Better Fandom" on his tweet. It's not fandom who writes this. It's the Access Media. The fandom reacts to this shit. And I am on this shit right now. So is it gone? I absolutely made a video now that you deleted it. You cowards. So Steve Rogers wasn't a hero for becoming Captain America. He was selfish. Wow. Hang on a second. I got to find the original tweet, folks. I got to get to the bottom of this. Oh. Yeah, I think they're just desperate for us to make videos. Here it is right here. Okay, let's read this. This might become a video later too. Most certainly. All right, guys. Breaking news from CBR. Hang on so you can see that wonderful headline there. Steve Rogers wasn't a hero for becoming Captain America. He was selfish. Wasn't I saying earlier that the Access Media is irrelevant? Was I not just saying that? Wow. It's this. You ask and you shall receive. The internet gods provide. You fucking idiots. Steve Rogers wasn't a hero for becoming Captain America. He was selfish. Let's go through this journey of idiocy. From Caleb Clark. While he's Marvel's golden boy, Steve Rogers deciding to be Captain America was based on his own selfish desires. So when you write an article for CBR, Caleb, are you inspired to do this to send messages to help the people? Or are you clickbaiting for your own selfish desires to get YouTubers to play it? Well, dude, I will respond. I see the low-hanging fruit. It has been picked. Captain America is one of the most important characters in Marvel history. And without him, many of the great stories of the Marvel Universe would not happen or wouldn't be the same. He is central in the entire framework of Marvel storytelling, and Captain America is emblematic of justice, honesty, and persuasiveness. And perseverance, perseverance, making him the ultimate culmination of the American ideal. However, the decision for Steve Rogers to become Captain America is inherently selfish. Okay. Steve was rejected from the military due to his small stature and health issues. But then his life changes when he is invited to join the Super Soldier program. Well, we fucking know this. Get to your point. Okay. which is how he becomes Captain America. However, when removing the context of how he would become, the decision is, okay, when removing the context of what he would become, the decision is selfish. Rather than contribute in the ways best suited to him, Steve chooses to go under an experimental treatment to artificially enhance himself. Steve's choice to become Captain America is rooted in I can't fucking read it. They fetishized the fetishized version of a hyper masculine fetishization of the hyper masculine. I got there. Rather than innate desire to do good for his country. So wanting to become Captain America was a fetishized ideal in Steve Rogers' head because he wasn't able-bodied? Well, that is anti-ableist of you. He had an opportunity to heal himself. And okay, for one, we're talking about a fictional character here, but he could have died. And are you saying that of everyone who decided to join the Army, the Marines, the Navy for World War II? Was that selfish too? Was that fetishized? Was that some kind of hero complex? Or did they want to go fight the bad guys? Giving up their lives for a country, because that's what you're saying, asshole. This guy cannot believe this shit. And if he does, well, I mean, that's why he writes for the Access Media. That's why he can't come on YouTube. That's why, he would never make it here. Just wouldn't make it. You know what? I dare you, dude. Make a video. Start a channel, make a video with this argument. I'd love to debate you on this. I would love to. Fetishized ideal. He continues. This is a bold claim against America's golden boy, yet the context matters. Yes, it does matter, and you are being disingenuous and dishonest. Are you going off the movie, by the way? You going off the movie, bruh? Or are you talking about the comic books? Because either way, Steve Rogers wanted to join the military to fight Nazis, to fight evil. You know those Nazis that you guys want to exist right now really bad so you can pretend to punch them? Or you could tell people on Twitter you want to punch them, but none of you really would if they existed, which they don't. Yeah. Steve Rogers wanted to go fight for his country. He saw all his friends going off and dying. He wanted to be part of it. He didn't want to be left behind. He felt helpless. He had an opportunity to do something. And after he risked his life and took the superhero soldier serum, he was completely selfless about it. The complete opposite of selfish. That's the one fuck up the MCU made at the end of Endgame, when Captain America was selfish at the end. That's when he was selfish, not in this decision. So lay out your context. Steve is initially someone unfit to serve on the front line. It is tough and hurtful, but it is the reality of the situation. If his concern was truly how he could best serve his country, he would accept the station in life and make the most of it. So you're saying that you're saying he should have not become Captain America, where he could actually help the most. Because he should have just stayed in his station. He should have stayed put. Wow. You want to talk about the philosophy of the SJW on display. Don't rise up. Don't aspire, because that's above your station. Know your place. So this little, again, this is anti-ableist, to use your language. It's very problematic. So you should just know your place. Don't aspire to anything. Don't inspire. Know your place. That is some Marxist shit right there. That is some Marxist shit. Thank you. The true colors that have been coming out since the beer bug. Listen, the beer bug's bad. But good comes out of everything. Everything's an opportunity. And we have taken our opportunity to expose these effing idiots. Just because you know how to work a keyboard and you took a couple of classes at university that mom and dad probably paid for, doesn't mean you should actually write things. He could have... Oh, this is so fucking stupid. He could have tried becoming a merchant marine. How? Do you know what a merchant marine is? So, not taking the serum and becoming a merchant marine. Train as an officer or stay home and help with the production of wartime materials. All of this. Oh my God, this guy's a Karen. This is a fucking Karen. This is a Karen point of view. This is an SJW Karen point of view. You should have just stayed home. All of these could contribute to the war like Steve supposedly wants to, but that isn't good enough. Steve, in his eyes, has to be on the front lines, where the most change occurred. Yeah, where you could die. How is that selfish? So basically, every World War II vet who wanted to, or the ones who didn't survive, everybody in World War II was just selfish by wanting to go to the front lines, because that's where the heroes go. Now, that's where the meat grinder is, shithead. And you better thank your lucky fracking stars we're not in a war, and the draft isn't around anymore, but God, do we need one now. I'm all for it. It's understandable for young men to want to prove himself to his peers and country. Yet, even if deep down his intentions are altruistic, the steps that he takes to pursue those instincts are selfish. In Steve's mind, there is only one way to contribute to the war, and that just happens to be the way he wants to contribute. Altruism's ugly side. Captain America is known for his altruism and his willingness to sacrifice everything for what he believes to be right. Yet, there is something selfish within that, because Captain's altruism is in what he believes and nothing else. Cap will fight against anyone who opposes his worldview, including his friends. Just look at the catastrophic violence that breaks out in the Civil War comic art, as well as the accompanying film. Well, how do you blame Captain? You are such a fucking idiot. That is Mark Millar, for one. For one, I agree. I always felt like they were on the wrong side. Now, that was a debate that we had as far as the comics are concerned. I always felt that it should have been flip-flopped. Civil War ended badly, and it didn't even end in its own book. It ended in Captain America 25 when he got killed. The events happened because Cap is uncompromising and nothing will shake his worldview. Yes, and it really did. It was not very characteristic of the character, and that is one of the major criticisms of the book, and that is because of Mark Millar. I mean, dude, have you read any Captain America prior to that? Prior to the aughts? Captain America. Okay. So Captain America, what the requirement that we stand up for is what we believe, no matter what the odds or the consequences, Cap says in the Amazing Spider-Man Civil War story arc by J. Michael Straczynski and art by Ron Garney. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move. The quote would also be adapted into the film, with Sharon Carter saying it and inspiring Cap to stand his ground in regards to the Sokovia Accords. The quote is also highlights Cap's tendency to respond to things with violence. In fact, Cap is an impulsive person, and his first response is opposition is to beat it down. This aggressive impulses are hidden beneath a veneer of tough American grit and freedom fighting. This may seem like a condemnation, but it's not. After all, not everything Cap does is selfish, and not everything he does is bad. So you're saying Cap is a complex character, and he's not perfect. He's well written. I don't agree with everything every writer does with Cap. But if Cap hadn't entered the Super Soldier program, there would have been no defeat. There would have been no defeat of the Red Skull during World War II. His unwavering commitment to freedom and privacy is also what uncovers Hydra's plot to take over S.H.I.E.L.D. in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. He's going back and forth with comics and books, by the way. These are two different Captain Americas. We're talking about like two distinctly different Captain Americas. So that's a conflation that, I mean, this whole thing is stupid. But in Avengers Endgame, he is also it's also his instinct for aggression and desire for revenge that leads the remaining Avengers to hunt down Thanos and ultimately kill him. No one would argue these outcomes are bad. However, the underlying motivation behind them isn't as black and white as it may seem. The importance of reflection, psychoanalyzing a comic book character may seem trite. It is. But that's not what you're doing here. You're not psychoanalyzing Captain America, folks. And I know you smart, beautiful people out there know that as well. He is psychoanalyzing masculinity. It goes on and fucking on. But there are good reasons to do so. For one, it makes Captain America more human. He is a fictional character, but he is also an important icon for many people. No, he's an iconic character. He's a fictional character. He's part of the American mythology, but he's still a fictional character. He's the golden standard many fans want to live up to. Humanizing him may take the veneer away, but it makes the character, his actions, and his consequences more real. It also helps readers and moviegoers better understand Steve Rogers in and out of the Captain America uniform. As his character, it is easy to write him off as an archetype of American machoism or machismo. But when fans try to understand why he makes the choices he does, he becomes that much more complex. Being a hero isn't a black and white issue, and seeing Cap overcome selfish impulses for the greater good is far more rewarding than watching him be a do-gooder all the time. He isn't a do-gooder all the time. So, listen, I don't know this person. I don't know how many comics they have read. Just go back. There's a series I would recommend that was prior to the aughts. Okay. God, I want to say Ron Garney. It was the Ron Garney run. Yeah, and unfortunately, it was written by Mark Waid. I don't want to double check that. But it's good. It's good. So it happens. That was in, God, what was it? Early 2000s? It was right before I bought my shop. It's like a 50-issue run. It's fucking great. And unfortunately, Mark Waid's an asshole now. But it's a good run. Go further back than that. I have every issue of modern Captain America. I do not have many of the Golden Age issues because they are very expensive and I don't even read them. But you can go get trades and stuff. Those are cool, but they're Golden Age. But Cap is not this do-gooder from the get-go, okay? He's a man out of time. It's just fucking shut up. But that article wasn't about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's about American machismo and how bad, impulsive, and selfish it can be. Now back to you. But Robert Meyer Burnett's tweet blaming fandom, saying, do better, fandom? No. Access Media is not fandom. Access Media separates themselves from fandom. It's not our choice as fans. We would love to have them part of fandom if they had fandom's best interest at heart. No, they have made themselves an entity of themselves, and they work now. They are a tool of the corporations. They used to be their own entity, but they are not anymore. Hail, Gary, what webcam do you use? I use a Brio 4K. It's like a $150 webcam. I had to one-up Jeremy because Jeremy had a $75 webcam. I'm like, well, I got to do better than Jeremy. So I doubled it, and I got a $150 webcam. I am probably going to buy a better camera. You know what? I look at Ripa's live streams, and those look good. Those are some slick fucking live streams. It's like, I think I kind of want that. But, I mean, he uses an expensive camera, and he earned it. By the way, hail Young Ripa. Go check him out. Young Ripa 59. Great channel. Great channel. Follow him on Twitter, too. And congratulations to all of his success. It is well earned, and we will get him back on Friday Night Tights very, very soon. So, yeah, I use a Logitech Brio 4K. Beer Me Too Brett for $5. Thanks for brightening the day. Lost some guys in... Oh, shoot. Okay, this is serious. Lost some guys in Afghanistan, so always hard day. Happy Memorial Day, and rest easy to those who gave everything. Yes. And by the way, happy Memorial Day. I am sorry. And they wrote that on fucking Memorial Day. Fuck you, CBR. Oh, that's going to get me ghosted. But, so... Happy Memorial Day to everyone and everyone who's given their life for this country. I don't really care what your motivations were. When you go over there, and listen, there are debates on why we go over there, but there is no debate that many young men and some young women have given their lives, and I'm talking about in combat, okay, have given their lives for this country. And we have a pretty damn good life in this country from varying degrees. We have a lot of rich snobs in Hollywood who are the most ungrateful people on the planet. And I think when the beer bug is over, they're going to look the worst out of this because they have shown a lot of their true colors in a time where we really should have come together. I would like to blame the media, the access media, and Hollywood for keeping us apart. I think they played 100% part of it. They are 100% guilty and complicit in keeping this divisiveness going. So I would like to thank everyone who has served. Thank you very much. I'm grateful for you. I don't agree with every time we've gone out and done stuff, but you know what? Doesn't change the fact that I'm grateful that people would be willing to lay their lives down for a country. Times are different because, back in World War II, there was people lining up for that stuff. And because of that generation, we have a pretty damn good life. And a lot of us, including myself, forget about that sometimes. So thanks, Beer Me Too, man. Have a good day. I'm sorry for your loss. Hail, Gary. Oh, I already read that one. Ravender Singh for 5 Canadian pesos. Not the first time a second cut of a movie has come out. Exorcist Dominion, the beginning. Oh no, absolutely not. And it won't be the last time. I saw Solo 2 trending today. Make Solo happen. Good luck. Solo 2 will not happen. Will they bring Orville Redenbacher back for a D+ series? Maybe. Have him guest in something? Sure. But not a movie, no. The movie would flop. It would absolutely flop. Like the first one did. Solo lost money. Hashtag Solo lost money. The problem with Doctor Who is the BBC. They want to destroy everything British, including the shows like Doctor Who, War of the Worlds, and Dracula. Andrew Bedford for $7.99 Australian. You're absolutely right. Doctor Who is exhibit A through Z of the destruction of a character for the purpose of agenda. They don't care about the character. They got the perfect tool to do it. Chris Chibnall, who has masqueraded as a Doctor Who fan, and he might have been when he was a kid, but he has clearly moved past that. And he is a tool, a cog of the BBC corporate machine. And he did their bidding to perfection. He is a lick-spittle tosser, and he was perfect for the role of deconstructing and destroying a character that people had loved all their lives, that have been around for almost 60 years. And it won't be around for 60 years now. It will be in comic books, audio adventures, novels, but no more on television, no movies, none of that. So HBO Max was their big savior. I hate to break this to the BBC, but AT&T, this is a different AT&T and Warner Brothers than you signed the deal with. I hope you know that. And they made it no secret that nothing is sacred. Everything's on the chopping block. It needs to make money. It needs to bring in subscribers. And if it doesn't, it's gone. So that little saving grace you had with AT&T, I wouldn't count on it for very long. Maybe the terms of your contract, but... And let me tell you, force majeure can and will be used even after the thing that shall not be named. George Forrest Jr. for $4.99. I believe Patrick Stewart is trying to destroy Picard because he is typecast for years for the role. I think he was beyond that, George. I mean, I could listen to that argument right after he finished, but he's getting roles everywhere. And he said that he likes he respects the Professor X character more than he respects Picard. No, he didn't like the character. He doesn't care about the character. So he was completely happy to go back. He didn't want to wear uniforms. He didn't want to do anything that was Picard. He didn't want to do anything that was familiar or Picard. So Alex Kurtzman, I would have told him to fuck off. I'd have gone, forget it. You know what? We'll say you're dead and the rest of the crew can come back. And I would have done a Next Generation that way. I would have watched a Next Generation TV show without Picard. Yes, without Picard. Absolutely. If that's all he wants to come back to deconstruct a character, no thank you. And now he's done permanent damage to the brand. Permanent damage has been done to the brand. Love your chats. R.I.P. Doctor Who, says Richard Cotton for £2. Thank you very much, Richard. I appreciate it. Right back at you. Haven't talked about Doctor Who in a while. I do have a video in the works that'll probably come out when I go on. I have a couple of videos that are kind of in the can that are going to come out when I go on vacation, which will be soon. And you know, I've been doing something every day. I drop a video, a live stream, or something. I do something every day. I've been spending, and it's been great. It's been fun. I've been doing 12, 16. 20 hours in this office, and it's been fun, but I need to recharge my batteries a little bit. I need to recharge the batteries. Your guys' vids are, and thank you very much, Richard, and thank you everyone. Thank you everyone who's here, and I know the other YouTubers. Thank you for the success of Friday Night Tights and the Nerdrotic Nooner. At least Monday, Wednesday will be on 12. It'll be at 12 no matter what. Now it'll be at 12 Monday and Wednesday, and I'm gonna do something every day, but it's going to change. Like tomorrow I'm on the Bag and Boarding stream with Az. So I'm going to do a 25,000 subscriber anniversary that night on Nerdrotic Live, my alternate channel. Yes, Nerdrotic Live passed 25,000 subscribers today. So thank you very much. It's been a good day. We're getting close to 245,000 subscribers here. I don't know what to say. I didn't expect to get past 5,000 subscribers. So It's all gravy from here. Thank you so much. I'm nothing but grateful. Oh, it's Jeremy. Should I answer it? Hey, I'm live. I'm on a live stream. Say hi to everybody.
Hey everybody, who am I talking to? Are you on a Nerdrotic live?
Yeah, I'm on a Nerdrotic Nooner right now.
I have been working my ass off on a Nerdrotic live stream. This is the peak of my career, and I want to thank everybody that supported me through all of the slander and everything. No, that's cool, man. I didn't know you're live, so hit me up when you're done.
I will. Cancel Jeremy. Bye.
Send super chat.
Bye. Later. That was Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. We love him. Your guys' vids helping me through things one day at a time. If you know what I mean. Big Doctor Who fan as well. Steps in gold for £5. I do know what you mean. Friend of Bill, one day at a time. That's the only way we can do it. I am going nuts without a meeting. I'll tell you right now. That's where I'm feeling like I've been feeling off for the last 4 weeks. It's because I haven't been to a meeting since the lockdown started, and I go to 2 a week. So yeah, I'm feeling a little off from it. You know, it's something I need. I tried the online ones. It doesn't really work for me. So hopefully those will be opening up soon, very soon. There might be some that are already opened up because I would consider that essential. I honestly haven't checked in the last couple of weeks. I probably should. Fred the Caveman for 10 Canadian pesos. Super grateful to have found this YouTube channel. The Fandom Menace is bringing together people from across the political spectrum. It is. That's why we try to stay away. Listen, the politics, I don't think this is politics. I think this is a human issue. Free speech, free expression. There are videos I want to make that I don't feel like I can make here that I might make on BitChute, especially with something that happened recently here on YouTube. But yeah, I'm grateful for this platform and I'm grateful for the Fandom Menace. It has been the best thing to come out of this. And honestly, it's better than Star Wars. It really is. To me, the Fandom Menace is better than Star Wars. Especially now. But, made a lot of good friends, met all these fine people in here, get to do this every day. That is a privilege. That is an absolute privilege that I am honored for. Now, I did work for this, but it's a privilege too. Mark C for $10. So a Collider writer thinks the Snyder Cut will make fans insufferable. Oh, yes. We will go over that in a second. Who is the entitled a-hole to think his audience is? Seriously, it's film and genre fans that would be reading his excrement. Yes, they've lost the plot. I don't know who they think they're writing for. I don't think it matters to them. I think tweets matter to them more. I think they're the only reason. I guarantee you, a lot of people write for CBR and whatever so they can have the Twitter status. The Twitter status is so important to them. And believe me, one of the most important things to a writer of CBR or anybody else is retweets from a star. Oh, I think they might come a little bit when that happens. Sorry to be crude, but I think they really do. I think that is where their dopamine hits come out if they get retweeted by a star. Oh, I got retweeted by so and so. Wow. Why don't they just? Thank you, Mark. The great Mark C. By the way, the great Mark C. Why don't they just make Star Trek relatively? Why don't they just make Star Trek Relativity the ship from Voyager? Then they could retcon all the rubbish they have and put it right. I don't know if they can't the only way you can retcon this shit is by erasing it. So if you want to do that, fine. In all seriousness, okay, let's say this actually happens. Let's say Alex Kurtzman gets fired. I know it sounds so good when you hear somebody say it out loud, but he's not going to get fired. He's going to live out the rest of his contract, and then there'll be no more Star Trek. But let's just say Sherry Redstone finally comes to her goddamn senses and fires his ass right now and brings in new writers, new everything. The only thing you can do they wouldn't fix it. They would just continue what Kurtzman has done, and we might get a better product with a different writer, but they would still count it for canon. What needs to be done is an absolute hard reset. And if they're going to do that, that would take years. So we are minimum 10 years away from any reset of Star Trek. And yes, they would have to reset it. Or this canon counts. I mean, you take it or leave it. That's what you're faced with. Unless the creator has such power that he can say everything Kurtzman did doesn't count. Kind of like what Cameron tried to do with Terminator. It's possible. Chances are they'll just reboot it, though. That being said, Star Trek is dead. Same goes for Doctor Who. We're going to continue with this crap, and maybe in 10 years, somebody with some real power comes in and says, we're erasing the last 2 years. They'll never do this. But then you reboot Doctor Who. Well, nobody wants that either. Nobody wants a rebooted Trek. Nobody wants a rebooted Doctor Who. And they're not going to erase the canon. So that's why they did what they did. That's why they deconstructed Picard. That's why they went back into the Doctor's past and made him a little girl. We could pretend it doesn't exist, but the harsh reality is it does. Now, you and I have the choice to say, you know what, for me, Doctor Who ended here. But that's the fact of the matter. It ended. It's over. It's done. And we're all kind of coming to terms with that. And it sucks. I wish I had a more inspirational hashtag than RIP Doctor Who. I really did, but that's the one that tells the truth. The more Disney Star Wars F's up, the more my money goes to Gunpla like the core Gundam. Hell yeah. So it's Nell Kumar Productions. Thank you for $5. Yes, the more my money goes elsewhere. Right now, my money goes in the bank, but when I do spend something here and there, I'm helping eBayers out quite a bit. I'm finding out that even, buying necessities off eBay, I'm getting them faster than I do off Amazon for some reason. So, and I think it's better if you help people on eBay, you're like helping people. That's the way I see it. Greetings from Halifax. You said about 25 minutes ago, the internet is winning against misandrous Hollywood. It made me so happy. I promised today to see my art dreams. It made me happy. So I promised today to see my art dreams through. Thanks for the inspiring words. Alejandro Munoz Medina, thank you for the 10 Canadian pesos. And I say that as a joke for Canada. We are winning. The fans always win. Now, we might not win in the sense we save Star Wars, but our money is our money, and we're going to take it wherever the hell we want to. And what we have to do is be persuasive to the normies. At least try to show them the truth. And that's what our side is. I am not behind anything that requires deceit. And the SJW NPC narrative from Hollywood requires deceit and lies. Their whole narrative is based on there is a group of Nazis out there. There's a big group of Nazis out there taking over entertainment. That's their narrative. Okay, that's obviously not true. It's beyond disingenuous. And ours, what's ours? Well, we get accused of being those things, but we really just want neutral entertainment sometimes. Show both sides of the story. Don't be so partisan. Don't be so hateful. Don't take our heroes and turn them into freaking slobs or quitters. But Hollywood, we've said it before, Hollywood is incapable of being inspirational. They don't know what a hero is. That's why Superman is a conundrum to them. Absolute conundrum. That's why Captain America is a conundrum to Shithead over there from CBR. He had to dig and find flaws, and he didn't even find the right flaw. At the end, Cap being stubborn and resolute, I would say that's a decent flaw for Captain America. I would stick with that argument. Cap being selfish. Superman is so selfish. He should walk around with some kryptonite in his pocket all the time because his power is the privilege. Smooth Jam, Mark C, what's up? Sorry, Smooth Jam, I'll get right to you. Are you a light, medium, or dark roast kind of guy? I like all the flavors, Mark C. No, I like dark roast. Thanks, Mark C. I am a dark roast guy. Smooth Jam, California for £5. Hey, Gary, I'm not a Trekkie, so I'm out of the loop with this. Just how bad have the SJWs ruined the second greatest science fiction franchise? That's funny. I see what you did there. Same way that they ruined Star Wars. The exact same way. They ruined Doctor Who the exact same way. So, we talked about it last night in the Inquisition. A few years ago, I didn't believe... I saw some of the wokeness. I didn't have a term for it. I saw it. When it bothered me, but I moved past it. And it didn't really hurt the storytelling for me. And we're talking about 5 or 6 years ago. Wasn't super aware of it. I was seeing it coming into the comic books, but I blamed the individual writer. I didn't see it as a movement or an agenda. Okay? Just being real. Didn't see it. When I started seeing it was with The Force Awakens. That was kind of opened my eyes to it. But I was quiet for a long, long time. Then The Last Jedi absolutely hammered it home for me. And I was still quiet. I was still finding my voice on YouTube. If you go back and watch my review, I'm pretty neutral. But I do call it abomination. I called it an abomination what they did to Luke Skywalker. And that was my awakening to it in pop culture. And then Doctor Who, I just lost my shit. And I should have done a review the day Jodie was announced. Not a review, but a video. Because it probably would have been one of my better ones. But I didn't. And it wasn't... So I took a wait and see approach. And honestly, it was my viewers at the time who talked me into watching Doctor Who. Because when I was done, I'm like, I'm done with Doctor Who. This room used to be a Doctor Who room. It used to be no Spider-Man figures. Every single inch of this was covered in Doctor Who. And I took everything down that day in a fury. I was mad. I was like ripping shit off the wall. It was like straight up nerd rage. It was not really a good example. My kid was upset, and that's what upset me. So my kid got upset, then I got upset. So I replaced everything. Took months. And then I said, Doctor Who's dead to me. I'm never going to go back to it. I'm not going to read anything. Nothing. And it was. Just as Star Wars was dead. After I saw The Last Jedi, I'm like, I'm not going to talk about Star Wars. I don't give a shit about Star Wars. Fuck Star Wars. So I walked away. And then my viewers are all, you should review Doctor Who. You should review. You should give it a chance. I'm like, but I'm not. Apparently, I'm this giant sexist because I want a fictional character to remain male. Fine. Whatever. I'll watch it. I could be won over with good writing. Sure. Watched it. And thought the first episode wasn't that bad, but I didn't like it. And then by the second episode, I was completely out. And that's when things changed for the channel. Because that's when I got pissed. That's when I'm like, F this. We were right the whole time. We knew that if they brought in a female doctor, it wasn't just about the female doctor. It was about the agenda. And that's all it was about. Stories of heroes can exist longer than the SJWs who try to destroy them. We will endure. Hail. Steps in gold for £5. You're right. The fandom will always endure. The fandom will win. The thing is, we're going to lose things we love along the way. That's the whole point of this. And it's dealing with the loss of Star Trek and Doctor Who as they head down the memory hole, as they wallow in obscurity. And that's where they're headed. They're not cool anymore. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. So when we were young, us old cats, when we were young and we liked Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who, people gave a shit for it. Not just the jocks, the rockers, the mods, the punks. They all gave a shit for being nerds. And it's fine. It wasn't cool back then. But the properties were. Doctor Who was always cool. Star Trek was always cool. Star Wars was always cool. It just took the rest of society a long time to figure it out. We were just way the fuck ahead of the game on that one. They were always cool. Doctor Who is no longer cool. Doctor Who is a joke. It is a mockery. If it wasn't for the 50 previous years, I would be embarrassed to have Doctor Who tattoos, but I don't because David Tennant exists. Tom Baker exists. John Pertwee exists. The great William Hartnell existed as the first Doctor and will always be in my mind. So they can't take that away from me. But the future is ruined. It's completely fucked. It's not going to be anything we're going to be able to go back to. Ask yourself, as a Doctor Who or Star Trek fan, will you accept a rebooted series? Because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be continue this canon or reboot. They're not going to erase anything. I wish they would, but they're not. And who's to say that the next version is going to be better? So we get a male Doctor back, which we're absolutely going to get, by the way. Jodie is done after the next season. She's gone. Chibnall is gone. I made no secret of it. That's the rumor I've heard from the same source who told me that the Doctor would originally be a female. So there it is there. They're done. They're gone. Still in rumor phase, though. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But after that, we'll probably get a bloke. But it'll be woke. It'll be a woke bloke. Because it's the BBC. They had no problem erasing canon. Why shouldn't someone erase theirs? That's a Rob Altus for $5. I wouldn't have a problem doing it, but their peers would have a problem doing it. They would get a lot of shit, and they care about that. Now, if you get a man of power like Seth MacFarlane, say Seth MacFarlane takes over Star Trek, he would be the person who could erase everything from Kurtzman and have the power to do it, and everybody would accept it except for 5 people who would be upset on Twitter. And Seth wouldn't care. That's my speculation. I don't know if he'd do that for sure, but he seems like the person who would do it. Christina Nordon, and thank you for the $5, Rob. You're right. I mean, they had no problem erasing theirs. If I was in charge, I would erase it, but I will never be in charge. Christina Nordon for $5. Hail, Gary. Have you watched Ryan Cannell's latest video about Star Wars? I have not. I will, though. I will. I know some of the art, like the face that's on my thumbnail, that's the original from the book. Somebody pumped up the color to make the lips look like they had lipstick to accentuate the point. I get it, but that's not exactly the truth. So the truth was the color palette that was used on my thumbnail was the true one, and it doesn't take away from the soy mouth at all. But Christina, I always watch Ryan Cannell's videos because Ryan Cannell is my internet son. Jeremy and I are the ones who talked him into having a YouTube channel. And it's worked out pretty damn well for him. Congratulations on 10,000 subs, buddy. G-Virus 00 for $5. If there was a fan-made movie or TV show of Star Wars and or Star Trek being made, would you be a backer? Yes. G-Virus, absolutely. I mean, it depends on who's creating it. I support, in theory, every single fan project, but I might not like everyone who's making them. So just keep that in mind. If it's a person I personally don't want to support, I wouldn't, because of stuff they've done on the outside that I feel has been disrespectful to fandom. See, because that's whose back I have. So if other creators out there have disrespected fans, I'm not going to support them. Just not. But I don't have to be against them either. I don't think I would be against that person. But most certainly, I'm going to back like Space Command. But my advice would be, don't waste your creative energy on that. If you have an idea that's good enough for a Star Wars and Star Trek story, change the names, make it your own. Now, I know it's good to get
backing. Here's the problem, though. If you get a crowd-funded fan film, it gets sticky because technically, at some point, you're going to profit off that. And if it's even $1, then you're breaking the law. I mean, you're breaking that IP, and they're going to sue you. So it's just better to make your own stuff. Say it's based on or in the spirit of Star Trek or Star Wars, and do your own stuff. And that way, if it gets picked up, it's yours. I mean, it's great that Star Wars Theories, Vader film is fucking brilliant. It's great, and it's never going to be his. And it's just going to be remembered as this fan film. Well, to me, the best fan film ever made was Batman Dead End. Batman Dead End. Because it was made for $30,000. And back when they didn't give a shit if you made fan films, and it was just damn good. Hail, Gary, 15-year vet here, and I love your channel. Hail! And again, happy Memorial Day. I watch as much as I can. Could you shout out my comic, Chronicles of War, on Indiegogo? Thanks, Scott. Of course. Thank you for the $9.99 screenwriter film critic. I will shout it out right now. Give me just a moment. Chronicles of War. Got to use the right keyboard here. It's not coming up that easily. Is it called Chronicles of War or something else? I'm getting a World of Warcraft on that's what I'm getting on Google. Let's try again. There we go. Okay, I got it. So Chronicles of War. Did it just start out? Here, I'm gonna show this to everybody. It looks like he just started it out. And that's you, Scott, right? I just want to make sure it is Scott. Scott, okay. Here we go. Little shout out for Scott, a veteran. Hail, Scott. There we go. So we got Chronicles of War. Unfortunately, you can't see the top part there. I wish I could fix that. Chronicles of War, issue 1. And I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you guys want to go check it out, please check it out. And thanks, Scott. Appreciate your service. Thank you for what you've done. Now he's got $50, and there's 2 backers. He's got 45 days left. So yeah, go check it out. And if you like it, back it. It looks like it's priced pretty fairly, $20. That's about the average price of a Indiegogo campaign. So hail, Scott. Boop, 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 boop. Back to me. Alt Fit for £5. All along we have enough executives called, as long as we have enough executives called Karen, we could make the next inclusive Soy Wars episode. We can. Send in the Karens. Wesker, thank you for the £5 Alt Fit. Wesker, 75 for £10.99. All the best from Munich, Germany. Big fan of yours. Your videos keep me sane. Keep it going. Thank you. My next video will be out maybe today. I'm almost done with it. I'm gonna try something new. I'm approaching 250,000 subs. I'm about 5,000 away. It's been the subs have been, sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it goes slow, but it's been consistently growing, and I'm grateful as hell. So, but I'm not going to change drastically. But when I hit 250, I'm never going to hit 1 million. It's not going to happen. I'm going to feel a little more free, creatively free to do whatever the hell I want. You got to please the algorithm. And you always have to do that with the titling. For anybody who accuses of clickbait, every article ever written is clickbait. Every video ever made is clickbait. We want you to click on it. That's the whole goddamn point. That's why I spend sometimes hours on my simple looking thumbnails. I want to get your attention, and it's what's about in the video that retains you. So after that, it's on me. I'm going to try to come out with a little more consistent video. I've been doing like one every 4 or 5 days. I used to do like 20 a month. Not going to do that much, I don't think. But I'm going to try to do it 3 times a week. 3 times a week. We'll see if that works out. I'm trying to get scheduled. I talked to my sponsor a little bit. I want to get on more of a schedule because, again, I feel completely off being locked down. I'm okay with it, but not going to meetings, not being able to go to the gym. These are things that like were instrumental in my life. I did the gym every day, sometimes twice a day. And, I go on my walks and stuff. But yeah, I think we're all feeling a little cooped up. Now, some of you are in states where you're free, and good for you. I don't know if that's going to happen. I might have to leave my state to be free. Hopefully not. We are moving, but I don't want to move like tomorrow. What are the chances of getting Seth MacFarlane on your Friday Night Tights? Oh, GVirus00 for $5. Slim to none. I have to ask. Is there a chance that I could talk to Seth MacFarlane? Maybe. That's a maybe. I have spoken with him. I have. On the show, I would love for him to talk to the guys, but let's think about this practically. If Seth came on the show, would he get criticized? Maybe. Would he care? Probably not. But I don't know if he would. I don't know if it would benefit him. So, and I understand that. And listen, he's running shows, like multiple shows. But I would love to talk to him at some point. I'm not big on interviews, okay? I'm just not. I'd rather talk to you guys. I'd rather bring in somebody with an upcoming YouTube channel than a movie star. Seth is one of the guys I'd want to talk to. Seth, Todd McFarlane, like those two guys I'd want to talk to for sure. I think one of the guys I'll bring on, if he wants to come on, I'll do an interview with I would like to talk to Tom Constantino too, but I don't know if he has time to come on though. I don't know if he has time to come on, but I have spoken with Seth and it was a very positive conversation. Very positive conversation. Sandman says, Run Runner for $5 Canadian. Would I love a great 7, 8, 9 Star Wars? Of course. However, I won't let these a-holes rob me of my love of Star Wars, Doctor Who, and Trek, and never do. The loss we're dealing with is anything we're going to get in the future. They can never take away with what we already have. Forget it. I have a closet, okay? I have a closet full of Doctor Who. Right there. My rack is in the way. Hang on. Oh, it's still in the way. But that closet, I forgot my rack was there. Nice rack. But that little closet you can see right there, that has every episode that you can get of Doctor Who on DVD. They can never take that away from me. I've got my regional Blu-ray player right here, and I've been watching Doctor Who and Venture Brothers and all kinds of good shit. It's been actually distracting me quite a bit. And Blake 7 review will be on Nerdrotic Live, I think by Thursday. And that's all I'll say about it. I need to watch it twice before I review it. And then I'm going to start on Red Dwarf. Oh, did I read that wrong, Matthew Anderson? I guess I read that wrong. I'm sorry. So he asked, Hail Gary, I meant the mount. What mount your webcam was on? It is on here. You'll see it bounce. So it's an adjustable mount that you, well, I can't show it to you, but it's an adjustable mount that clamps on the side of my desk that I can twist when I need to, because I have a lot of different angles I actually use. You never notice it, but I use a bunch of different angles. So I'll show it to you by the end of the show. I'll show you an image of it, Matthew, for $2. Keller Ranch for $20. Best Sunday dinner: smoked prime rib, garlic mashed potatoes, and grilled asparagus with apple pie, or grilled pork roast on the cob coleslaw and cherry and on the cob coleslaw and cherry cobbler. Both desserts come without ice cream. Both desserts come without ice cream. Keller Ranch for $20. All you did was make me hungry right there. And it sucks that you did that when I'm starting my fast. When I'm starting my fast. Thanks a lot, Keller Ranch, for $20. Sci-Fi Nation for $10. What's up? Hey, Nerdrotic. A few low-level creators trying to spread the word. Please help with Mr. CCVD, a veteran. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Rambling Canuck. Tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So that is Mr. CCVDV, a veteran, tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Time. Go search it on YouTube. And Rambling Canuck is at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You know what? Unsolicited advice for you, Sci-Fi Nation. You're never a low-level creator. Never see yourself as a low-level creator. I don't see you as a low-level creator. Up and coming. Up and coming. That's it. Dude, I was sitting under 300 subs for 2 years when I started. I didn't get 1,000 subs until I believe it was December of 2017 is when I hit 1,000. And then it kind of, but then most of the year, The Expanse happened and I got the 5,000, and it was Doctor Who at the end of 2018 that got me to 30,000. So yeah, don't see yourself. You know, that mindset is important. Mindset is very important. Never see yourself as a low-level creator, because you're not. I don't see you that way. Sandman says, runner for $5 Canadian. Most importantly, thank you to all who have served and who are still serving. Hail to everyone who has served and is still serving. I appreciate you. We have a lot of veterans out there and people still serving. And my family, my entire family served except for me. Except for me. They were Navy. What's up, Kai MF? What's up, Kai MFS for $5? Have a feeling someone from the Inquisition left a HK comment in my video from yesterday and then reported it. I'm appealing, but not cool. Who did that? What's an HK comment? Like, okay, that HK. That's not cool. No. Kai MF, no. No. But you know what, Kai? People will leave comments that suck. That's part of the gig. It's part of the gig. I'm going to get some for this video. I'm going to get some for my next video. And you wouldn't believe, or maybe you would, some of the stuff that's said in the comment section. Here's the deal, though. YouTube holds so many, and there's no way I can go. I try to go through them all and put them back on, because I think everybody should have their say to a point, okay? I am not a free speech absolutist on this platform. In life, outside, yeah, I am. But when it comes to this platform, I'm not. So I don't allow the F word in the chat. I did before, I don't now. Why? Because it gets my videos demonetized, and it gets them ghosted, and it gets them deranked, and it hurts my channel. You could definitely go F ** K and get your point across. It's fine. But I'm on their platform, and if I'm going to make any, oh man, my brain is blanking right now. If I want to be effective on this platform, I need to be on this platform. And if I'm not on the platform, then I'm not effective on the platform. So I might be, If I could be a free speech absolutist all day long and have my principles that nobody's going to hear. So that's great. You're sitting, that's just like the person who needs to be just fracking right all the time. The person who just can't admit defeat, say I was wrong, have a nice life by yourself because nobody wants to sit around that shit. Have some humility. I make mistakes all the goddamn time, and it's fine. Call me out on them, please. And Mrs. Nerdrotic constantly does, so it's fine. That's what keeps me in check. Believe me, she's good at that, and that's why I like her. But yeah, you just got to go with the flow. My suggestion is, try to read as many comments as you can, especially when you're an up-and-coming channel. You can certainly read all the comments. I can't read all the comments now. Any YouTuber who is bigger than 80,000 subs who says they read all their comments, I don't know about that. That's impressive. That's an impressive feat. Now, if you make one video a month, sure. Okay, yeah. I can read a large portion of mine, but if you're making like 4 or 5 videos a day and you're saying you read all your comments, really? Are you? Really? And plus, you can't see all your comments because YouTube is holding more now than ever. It's ridiculous. It's doubled. The number has doubled how much they are holding. And it's like really harmless stuff. That's why I'm trying to put it back because, I do not ever delete comments. I have not deleted a comment since I started this channel. So I don't do it. YouTube does, though. Sorry to hear that, man. Mr. Insanity for $1.99. Odds on Red Letter Media on Friday Night Tights or a video. I don't know if I would most definitely invite them. I don't think they would come on, but, well, maybe they would. I don't want to assume that. That's kind of a dick thing to assume. Sorry. I apologize. Maybe they will. I think that would be cool. I didn't even think about it. Listen, they're big. Okay. There's like, there's a lot of YouTubers. I think I should try to get bigger ones on, that are much bigger than my channel. But I also want to have a good mix of bringing in up and coming ones. And we're going to start doing that in the later hours. We got Noah from the Fandom Menace coming on this Friday. He'll be on at 8 p.m. And that's what we're going to Odin only stays for a couple, 3 hours. And when he leaves, we're going to use that slot for either Tom at Midnight's Edge or an up and coming YouTuber. And we're going to start mixing them in. This Friday, we got Yellow Flash. I'm going to try to get on some other ones. Dave Cullen is a person I'm really trying to get on. If Locutus of Soy appropriated Geordi's visor for the Republic of the Cyborg people, is it still a hate crime? Says AltFit for $5. Well, of course it is. Of course it is. It's still a hate crime because Locutus is white. He's still white. He's a much paler, dead version of white, but he's still white. G-Virus and the Borg is it's a superpower. Locutus is a privileged rank at a Borg superpower, AltFit. G-Virus 00 for $5. Wish I could join you as James and everyone else on your Friday Night Tights. You mean Jeremy. But I'm too awkward to talk live, but will always keep you guys. Well, are you sure? Why don't you, well, I do member streams. You don't have to be a member though. I'm not trying to coax you into that, but I do member streams where you can ask me anything. I do those twice a week now. So for my members at 12 noon on Sunday and 8 or 9 at night on Thursday for Australian hours. Problem being but maybe, I don't know, maybe a YouTube video is what you need. There is a bunch of socially awkward people on YouTube where they're practically shut-ins, but they shine on YouTube. I won't say who their names are, but okay, this is good news. Starry is fine. I was worried about Starry-Eyed Girl. She disappeared from Twitter, but she probably had good reasons. Didn't want to make too much of it, but I was concerned. Problem being, for £1.99 says Starry is fine. Blake 7 review, also fine. It's fine. Jody Bowie for $5. I never said what I'm making for dinner. Well, tell me. Grilled shrimp and dip, creamy chive chicken and rice and salad, and individual tiramisu. Okay, tiramisu for dessert. Tiramisu. Well, that sounds delicious. I don't know what I'm gonna probably have nothing. I haven't done my shopping for my fast yet. So, there's 3 days I don't eat anything, and I have this like concoction and some vitamins. But then I got to go shopping for specific things to eat, which is basically like lettuce and bell pepper, like nothing with sugars in it at all. Minimum salt. I'm going to be salty. I'm a little lightheaded right now because I haven't eaten anything at all. I've had a glass of water. So it's beginning, but like I'm halfway through the day, so I might as well start it. I was like wavering. I was like, maybe I'll start my fast officially tomorrow, but no, I'm going to start now. Screw it. And if I pass out during the live stream, it'll be all the better. It'll be funny for you. Red Dwarf is the best. You'll love it. Thank you. Randomize for $1.99. I appreciate it. Sci-Fi Nation for $25. Thanks, Gary. We appreciate the love from the bigger channels. My pleasure. Just let me know anytime. You email me. I mean, I'm not going to see every email. I try. But just let me know, and I'll shout you guys out whenever. It's the least I can do to help, okay? I got a lot of shout-outs when I was an up-and-coming YouTuber, so I got to pay that forward. Measure by quality, not quantity. All of us. The John Beck for $2. Indeed. Thank you, Lens Quest for £1.49 for the phallic unicorn. I appreciate it. Doc Martin. I have some Doc Martin boots for £5. Hail, Gary. Will you give a shout out to my daughter's YouTube channel? Her name is Erin Curran. She loves old Doctor Who and sci-fi. Thanks. Sure. Check out Erin Curran's channel. Is that what it's called? Doc Martin. Erin Curran. So it's here, I'll put the name in the chat. And you guys can search it up. Boop. That's the name right there. Who doesn't love old Doctor Who? Do you have a BitChute channel? Says Hiragum. It's Hirag HM. Hiragum for $2. I do. I will put the link in the chat. BitChute right now is not, it's supposed to be connected to my YouTube channel, so it's automatically supposed to get every video that I put up my YouTube channel, but it doesn't do it. It misses some. So some are missing. But yes, I have a BitChute channel that I do not shout out enough. It actually has an exclusive video on it if you want to check it out. There it is there. And boom, there's my BitChute. Mr. Hayes for $10. Hi, ever read Abrams' old Superman script? Yes. Flyby? Ugh. Krypton didn't blow up. Soup has anxiety attacks, and Lex was from Krypton. LOL. I think he should still film so we can hear your review. Mr. Hayes, I would go freaking nuclear if that thing gets made. And I guarantee you a version of that script will go into Jar Jar Abrams' Superman. And yes, he will be directing Superman. And that sucks. That absolutely sucks. No, read Flyby if you want to read the dumbest Superman script ever written. And I mean, it's worse than Kevin Smith's. Kevin Smith's looks like Shakespeare compared to that one. Hurry up and watch Red Dwarf, Gary. Red Dwarf, Gary. It will soothe your chibnalled heart, says Jay Bluff for £5. I will, as soon as I'm done with Blake 7, it's on. It's next. Matt Guy for £2. Red Dwarf is amazing therapy for this crazy world. Well, it's probably not unlike Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for me. So that's probably, I mean, as far as, just giving you relief through humor, insightful humor. NK33 for $2. Replace F word with Google. Never censor that. Google you. Get Googled. Mother Google. It'll put a whole new spin on Google it. NK33, it would. It would. The Smoke 007. Man, my camera's in my way here. There we go. My other camera. Hey, Gary, did you check out my Orville fan series and let me know? Shut up. Why is my phone talking to me? Hey, Gary, did you check out my Orville fan series and let me know what you think? USMC vet. Hail. The Smoke 007 for $5. No, I will check it out, though. I got to get your channel. Hang on. Can I get to it from here? Oh, it doesn't let me go to your channel anymore. Is that the name of your channel? The Smoke 007? I will check it out. Scottish Nerd, thank you for the orange. That's an orange, right? For the orange sticker for $1.49. I think it's an orange. I love orange juice. Keller Ranch. I lost internet for a bit. The other post dessert was with or without ice cream, and this has been ghosted again. I had to go to your channel to join back. No shit. Did I get ghosted? Fucking A, man. Every goddamn live stream is getting ghosted except for Friday Night Tights. No, it's still there. We are still there, thankfully. Maybe it's ghosted for you. Yeah, there's something most definitely going on with YouTube. I'm going to have to make a video. I mean, I don't know what to do. I need to get other people's attention for this. It's a known issue. It's not just happening to me. So the super chats from the Nooner last week, I'm sorry I didn't say this at the beginning of the live stream. I have collated them, okay? So there will be a super chat square up for those in the next couple of days. It took some work, but it was my pleasure. And I'm sorry they didn't get read because they completely disappeared from my channel. They're still gone. I had to go rewatch the live stream and just screen cap what showed up on the chat, okay? Live streams are getting ghosted on YouTube. Something weird is going on again. When YouTube blipped out a week and a half ago, it obviously screwed something up. So videos are getting crushed. And I mean, like, people have been telling me, like, videos that would normally do well are getting crushed now. And if it happens to one YouTuber, or if it happens to me, generally I say, well, maybe I sucked in this video. That's the way it goes. Try better next time. But if it's happening to multiple YouTubers, then there's a known issue. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it gets worked out. It generally does, but sometimes it takes months. I heard, I don't know if this is true, I heard it takes the YouTube algorithm 90 days to learn your channel. So if you change anything fundamentally on your channel, you need to consistently do whatever you changed for 90 days for the YouTube algorithm to learn it. I don't know if that's a fact. That's just what I've heard from a couple people. We'll see if that's true. Keep giving the fracking SJWs hell. Long live fandom. Love from Norway, Paul Sletten. Thank you, Paul. And hail, and thank you for the 200 Norwegian krona. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Hail, Norway, by the way. Waiting to say, long live Bird of Prey 5, hail Karoga. Oh, fuck yeah. Sci-Fi Nation for $2. We love Bird of Prey 5. He is one of the good people of the Fandom Menace. We adore him. All right, so what did I want to go to? I'm blanking on it now. I wanted to go to an article. And, oh, yes, it was Collider. And we talked about this a little bit on Friday Night Tights, but this is fucking ridiculous. It's a little crooked, but yeah, we can live with it. Why releasing Justice League Snyder Cut sets a dangerous precedent. A dangerous precedent. Well, it happened. Zack Snyder Cut of his failed superhero team-up movie Justice League will see a release on Warner Brothers' direct-to-consumer streaming platform HBO Max sometime in 2021. Members of the movement who have been hectoring Warner Brothers to release the version of the movie see it as a giant win. Everyone else should be worried about what this means for the rest of cinema. I'm so glad. Sorry, my phone is at a ridiculous level right now. I'm so glad that Collider is concerned about the history of cinema. Collider, which is just the arbiter of taste and here on the internet, because they don't shill for anything. They've always been right. Remember The Last Jedi? Remember how right they were about they weren't. Remember when they said the release of Snyder Cut didn't exist? They weren't right about that either. So why not sound stupid some more? Way to go. Collider is I don't know, they started out great, but ever since that dude took over, they've gone in the shitter. The guy's like an idiot. I think, just because you were successful in something else, just because you have a little cheddar, doesn't mean you can walk in and have the same success. Everything you've done, I'm forgetting his name, the dude who's running Collider, everything you've done has driven your business down the shitter, man. I mean, you would have been better off keep retaining the people you had, getting rid of a studio, and finding some personalities who told the truth, who could connect with fandom. You had some that people liked a lot, and you could have have them broadcast from their home, and that would have been fine. Wouldn't have cost you anything. Whatever. I'm not here to give him advice. The saga of Snyder's Justice League starts long. Oh, God. The saga of Snyder's Justice League starts long before the internet began crying out the Snyder Cut. The production of the movie was fraud. God, I don't need to hear this. Yeah, we know all that. They bullied those who suggested that maybe the Snyder version, which would require tens of millions of dollars to finish the audio and visual effects, might actually be a worse version. Who would want to watch who would want to watch a half-finished movie anyway? The skeptics wondered. They bullied those who thought the theatrical release version was good. Did they bully, or were you doing the bullying? By the way, if you're a grown-ass man and you're using the word bully, you're not a grown-ass man. But most of all, they bullied Warner Brothers, who clearly went in a completely different direction from what Snyder had planned, according to the report in the New York Times. See, we dropped the New York Times because that's an official, authoritative news source. Bullies. Whedon, who wrote 80 new pages of material, fans in the industry began asking anyone involved with the film about what they thought about the Snyder Cut and whether or not they thought it should have been seen. One of the this stupid fucking site, man. How can you read something when it's constantly bouncing around from your shit ads? One of the most vocal supporters of the movement on Twitter described the move by Warner Brothers as sabotage, failing to acknowledge that if the version Snyder submitted was good, then Warner Brothers would have probably, released it in the first place. Well, that's not the truth, and you know that, Collider. Here's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Warner Brothers, the regime who was in charge at the time, fucked over Zack Snyder. Now, you might not like his version. You might not like the version he's coming out with, but you cannot deny they fucked over a guy whose daughter left this mortal coil. And he was dealing with that. And the right thing to do would have been delay the movie. Let the man finish his vision as a kindness, as a human kindness. And you probably would have made a lot of money. The movies made some money. They did. They made a lot of money in the Blu-ray market. So again, we can argue quality because I don't think they're necessarily good at all. But they fucked him over. So Mrs. Nerdrotic knows somebody who works with Zach. All right. Not going to say much more than that, but Zach is a good person. People love him. His crew loves him. He's got this incredible loyalty with the people who work with him because he's a good dude. The personal tragedy that should happen to no one. And I don't care how many billions are on the line. When you have your director and one of his family members does what they do, you just delay the movie. It wouldn't have killed anything, but apparently there was some bonuses involved. So what you do is you waste a bunch of money bringing in somebody who should, Joss Whedon is the single worst person to bring in to finish a Zack Snyder movie. I would have, you bring in Robert Rodriguez or somebody like that. Yeah, sure. Joss Whedon? I think Robert Rodriguez, because he was able to adapt a Frank Miller property pretty damn good with Sin City, and Zack Snyder adapted a pretty damn good version of a Frank Miller property with 300. So I think those two would be adaptable in some way. Because there was a definite Frank Miller feel to the Snyder, to the DCEU, for sure. He got fucked over. So Collider, I'm not going to tell you to tell the truth. Why start now? You're on your way. You're circling the drain, just like the rest of the Access media. You were according to Jeremy, and I trust Jeremy, you were the ESPN of YouTube for nerds. And that's awesome. And we could still use something like that. But instead, how are those deep fakes doing? How are those deep fakes coming? They coming okay? They doing all right? Okay, good. Awesome. How are those people doing who are not with Collider anymore? Are they doing well on their own? Huh. Because I know some of them busted their ass being a fan for 5 years. 5 whole years they busted their ass being a fan. Kissing ass, sucking on a knob, and all they got was a Disney t-shirt. That's too bad. Last time I went to Disneyland, by the way, I got in for free. Thanks to Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers. Thanks, buddy. One of the most vocal supporters of okay, I read that. As Snyder eventually began stoking the movement, so too did several stars of the film, including Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa, Henry Cavill, and Gal Gadot. These stars of the film, jackass. It seemed like a profound waste of everyone's time and further evidence that the only tool is you, fucker. You. Who wrote this? Drew? Oh, of course it's Drew. Yeah, you are. Dude, Drew Taylor. You want to see Drew Taylor? Hang on. One moment. Now I can't find him. Whatever. I was looking for a video. There was a video of him. But I can't find it. So never mind. Drew Taylor. You get a break. You're lucky. You get a break. The fact that Warner Brothers has not only... It seemed like a profound waste of everybody's time and further evidence that the only tool in this movement's arsenal was aggressive, unpleasant forcefulness. The fact that Warner Brothers has only acknowledged this incredible, obnoxious fan uproar, but also agreed to, per their demands, #release the Snyder Cut. It's mystifying and potentially dangerous. Oh my God, Drew. Listen, I don't care how you identify. You still need to be like a common misnomer out there. No matter how you identify, you're still a man. Men do not talk like this. If you talk like this, if you think releasing a film on a streaming service that's just a director's cut, which they've done before a million times, is dangerous, what are you really talking about? You're not talking about release the Snyder Cut. You're not talking about Justice League. What's your real motivation for writing this article? Is it your loss of influence? Is that what it is? Are you whinging about your loss of influence? Well, that's your fucking fault. Look in the fucking mirror, dude. You know why you've lost your fucking influence? Because you're a liar. You're a disingenuous liar. People got tired of being fucking lied to all the time, especially from hack shills like Collider. That's why, again, you're circling the drain and you can't go down fast enough. Who would be against their releasing a movie? Why? Well, it's because it's some political argument with you. Because you assholes made things political. The Access Media is not part of fandom. They are a separate bullshit entity that is irrelevant and it doesn't need to exist anymore. And goodbye. You cannot leave fast enough. Find a day job. Go to vocational school. You're not very good at this. I mean, I'm not even in Release the Snyder Cut. I don't even care. I mean, like, I care. I'm happy they won. But this is the shit the Fandom Menace and goddamn, I'm surprised he didn't bring up YouTubers. He brought up Twitter. But YouTubers get brought up all the fucking time. They can't stop talking about us because they're losing their asses to us. Why? Well, I mean, you guys had to work really hard to fuck up your entire medium. Or not medium, but your entire platform. It is a medium because there's a lot of fiction coming from you assholes. But yeah, your entire platform was screwed up by you. I mean, like, how did people find us? People had to go to YouTube. Why did they go to YouTube? Because they got tired of reading fucking articles like this. This is a 2017 article being written today. I didn't even, like, on Friday, I didn't make it this far, but like, dude, it's dangerous. It's so dangerous. I am literally shaking and I'm hiding in my closet right now because they released the Snyder Cut. People are going to watch a movie and enjoy it. And I have been spending years saying it doesn't exist. And now everybody's going to know I was wrong once. And my fragile little boy ego cannot handle it. I need a good cry. Somebody give me a soy latte. The message is clear. If you bitch, no, you're a bitch. If you bitch and moan enough, chances are the studio might not only hear you, but agree with you. No, if you have a voice, if you show passion, you know what? Listen, Drew Taylor, I have a challenge. I have a challenge for you, Drew Taylor. Come up to any of us in the Fandom Menace and say what you just said. Tell President Abu Nas that he was bitching and moaning and bullying people. Now, he's a little salty on Twitter, but I don't think he was bullying anybody by throwing up a gif of, he might not be the best example, but, you know, Abu Nas can get salty. But throwing up a gif of freaking Batman and saying, release the Snyder Cut, and you know what? Calling out people who are against it, they deserved it. Because again, how could you be against it? You could hate the movie. You could say, you're probably just going to get another shitty version of Justice League. But why would you be against it coming out? That makes no sense as an argument at all. Just go, okay, you win. You get another shitty movie. That's it. That's all you have to say. Why would you be against it coming out? Because it's about influence, people. Why do you think Bleeding Cool wrote a big fucking article on Joe Rogan and Kurt Metzger talking about Snowflake and Safe Space? Was it about Larry and then conflate it with Larry's Comics buying 500 copies because he's an idiot? Why do you think Rich Johnston wrote that article? Because he's losing influence. It had nothing to do with Larry's idiocy with buying 500 copies of Snowflake and Safe Space. Good luck with that, buddy. Had nothing to do with Joe Rogan talking. Well, it did. It had everything to do with Joe Rogan talking about it, because Joe Rogan talks about it. It gets 750,000 views. That's on top of the millions of views he got on his podcast. Rich Johnston plugs a live stream, which should have had at least a couple thousand people there, and 200 people showed up. That shows you, that is real hard data, how much actual influence Rich Johnston has in a medium that in comics that he writes about exclusively. Well, he'll talk about Doctor Who and shit, but he's all about comic books. And you just saw his influence. He was shouting out a live stream that was going to have some pretty big publishers from Dark Horse, from IDW. And they were talking, this was still in the comic book crisis. This was a pretty important live stream. And all of 200 people showed up. And I doubt many of them were from Bleeding Cool, although he wrote an entire article about it with a link. 200 people showed up. That must sting, Rich Johnston. I'm sure it does. But Joe Rogan just mentioned something nonchalantly. And again, I equate that to something showing up on Carson in the 80s. That's how big Joe Rogan is, and that's how small the Access Media is. And God, I'm loving it. Yes, I'm loving it. I'm enjoying every goddamn minute of it. And if they keep writing fucking articles like this, every time an article like this comes out, a YouTuber gets his wings. The fan uproar, which was, at the very least, very annoying. Here, I'll put this up. Very annoying. There it is. Not as annoying as you. And at the very most, especially on Twitter, everything on Twitter is annoying. Actively threatening receipts. Show, let me do a Twitter clap, like one of those SJW clap tweets. Show me receipts. Show me receipts. Actively threatening. Again, this is a common tactic of the Access Media. Always bringing up threatening. Never showing a goddamn receipt. I'm sure they're referring to one or two people who may or may not even be involved in the Snyder Cut with, and listen, no judgment, 2 followers and an anime avatar, okay? The methods have been approved. No, you have lost your influence. What AT&T did, because the toxic, disingenuous Access Media will focus on the negative because that's what they are. They are the negative. He is not bringing up all of the positive interaction with Release the Snyder Cut, which I saw a lot of. That's all I really saw. I just saw people liking Release goddamn Snyder Cut, and people were happy. So what? So they listen to the fans, and they don't listen to you. And you lost your little gift basket and your little free screeners, and now you can't. Oh, but you know what? Or maybe you're just a tool for Disney. Or maybe, just maybe, nobody cares about you anymore. And I'd be upset too. And that's what this entire article is notice me. Everything that they did had a purpose because Warner Brothers has finally given them what they want. Fucking terrible, isn't it? Isn't it just awful that Warner Brothers gave the fans what they want? This is so dangerous. I think we should definitely flag all their videos. Yeah, by the way, the media is starting to flag videos. Now, that hasn't happened in entertainment yet, but it's starting to happen in the political real world sphere. Dave Cullen just had something happen to one of his videos where a media member decided they didn't like it and they flagged it. Believe me, that shit's going to start happening here, if it hasn't already. Well, with Naughty Dog, it certainly did, but I'm talking about in entertainment, like us criticizing a movie. It's one thing to criticize leaks and spoilers. I still think you should let it go. None of my friends should have been, none of my friends should have been flagged. But if you showed an image, I can understand why you were. I still think it should be okay to do it, but I can understand why you were. But will there be a day where I give a bad review of a Supergirl movie or a TV show and they decide to flag my video because it's harmful to their business? I would have thought that was crazy 3 years ago. I think could be an absolute reality. And here we see the start of it. This is dangerous. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I can't undersell that. Somehow this is dangerous. Really, We have seen the shadow of Release the Snyder Cut movement rear its ugly head recently with the release of Star Wars The Fall of Skywalker. Fans convinced that J.J. Abrams had an original cut that was far superior to the one Disney and Kathleen Kennedy released in the theaters began whining, "Release the J.J. cut." That was actually Fandom Menace and Geeks and Gamers that started that, and it was kind of a troll, but thank you. I've talked to several people involved with the film who said that it was a trial to get a cut ready for its December release. So the idea that an entirely separate version exists is laughable. Is it as laughable as the release of Snyder Cut? Oh, and who did you talk to? Are those sources? Like any good conspiracy theory, the fact is it couldn't be true doesn't really matter. The idea that Snyder or Abrams have toiled away on some unseen masterpiece is ultimately more comforting than the reality of the situation that was they just made lousy movies. Okay, your argument again is that it doesn't exist. That's his argument right there. So the idea that Snyder or Abrams have toiled away on some unseen masterpiece is ultimately more comforting than the reality of the situation that they just made lousy movies. But Snyder did work on a movie. It might not be a masterpiece. It might not be lousy. Why are you so against it? Why? I really would love to hear the truth because I know it. It's not about the movie at all, like I said before. For as long as the movement has raged, Warner Brothers has done the right thing and simply ignored them. But they've listened to us because we are the authoritative sources that shill for them and do whatever they say. Where's my chapstick? The internet already gave them a voice when they shouldn't have had one. Oh, fuck you, dude. Fuck Collider. Drew Taylor says the internet gave Release the Snyder Cut fans, fuck that, paying customers, a voice when they shouldn't have had one. According to who? You, Drew? Based on what experience, bro? I would love to talk to this dude. Yesterday, the studio gave them something they never expected but always craved. Legitimacy. Fans got legitimacy. Guess what, asshole? The fans were always legitimate. Fucking moron. And now we're screwed. Fans displeased by perceived slights will now be insufferable. Not only will they demand alternate versions of movies more often, but their rhetoric will reflect the release of this and any other DC property. If Warner Brothers thought that this would quiet them down, it won't. If anything, it will amplify their voices. The entitlement is already unbearable. The hypocrisy, the disingenuousness, the absolute this thing's retarded. This guy's retarded. You also have to feel for the creative talent involved in trying to fix Snyder's problem. From Whedon to the countless artists and technicians who labored, who want this. They fucking want this, by the way. And think about Matt Reeves' Batman. Yeah, think about how much Batman looks like a real man and Skinny Boy doesn't. And this guy's still, my God, this thing's still going on. And it would be wise to remember that this is not the case of an artist having his paintbrush taken away from him midway through completing his masterpiece. Justice League is a corporate product. One designed to sell Happy Meals and bed sheets. Does that make it any less enjoyable? How does it feel to be a tool of a tool? You're not even a tool of the corporate progress You're not even good enough to be a tool of the corporation. You're a tool of a tool. You're a disposable rental shill who has already been disposed of. But bullies are never done. They'll be back, and we'll all have to pay for it. Drew Taylor. A name to remember. Well, let's go take a look at hang on. Let's go look at here's Collider.
I want to touch on one last thing, which is I have viewed over the last few years a toxic.
Here's Collider.
I want to touch on one last thing, which is I have viewed over the last few years a toxicity in fandom, and I believe you've experienced or seen a little of it in the last week.
Yeah.
What is
These assholes have been pushing this narrative for a long time, and it is nice to see them again circling the drain. Can't get rid of Collider soon enough. They're dumb, so thankfully they're just ridiculously stupid. They got rid of whatever talent that they had. They did have some good people over there, and they're gone. Unfortunately, I don't know where they are. I don't know how they're doing on their own. They're probably looking for another gig instead of trying to, do it on their own, which they'd probably be better off. But I don't know. Maybe some of them have. But Collider becomes the latest, greatest example of why we don't need an access media anymore. Like, the only good that served was that makes some little baby feel better because he lost his relevance. He's part of a corporation. He's part of a dying model. Entertainment journalism is dying, and we're seeing these sites. John F. Trent told me that, like the ad rates are way down and a lot of these sites are hurting. But something like Bounding in the Comics is doing fine. Why? Because you know what? He's upfront about any bias he might have, and he keeps it real. And he's not lockstep with everything. That's all we ask. Collider is all about the shill. Always ever will be about the shill. And now the bill comes due. They thought they would have that backing of Disney and the corporations forever. Nope. And now we have one corporation do one thing for the fans. Not even a lot. Remember, this is the Warner Brothers who made Birds of Prey and Batwoman, a ton of woke shit. But they do one thing for fans, and it's the end of the world. Fuck off. All right, where are we? Clobbering Times is a member at the proto-molecule level. Hail! Take care and keep up the good work, says Mr. Coffee Break for £5. Thank you. Love Dawn of the Dead and Watchmen. Lens Quest for $2. I do too. Watchmen is in my top 10 movies of all time. I love the 4-hour version of that movie. Fuck, I'll watch it tonight. In honor of Drew Taylor. And I'll say release the Snyder Cut over and over again. And listen, I didn't care about the release the Snyder Cut until the media started coming out against it. And then I automatically wanted the Snyder Cut released. Why? Because why would you not? Again, there is no argument to not have the movie exist unless you're like Joss Whedon's mom. If you're Joss Whedon's mom, I understand why you'd be pissed. Other than that, shut the fuck up. The Legion of Reason for 10 pesos. Have a look into using a Raspberry Pi hole to get rid of ads. The thing is, like Raid. Perhaps it could be described as experimental internet gas. Maybe. Diversity in Comics Bear for $4.99. Your vids are constantly recommended to me. No ghosting in my experience. Good, thank you. It seems like someone at YouTube likes you. I will take that. And thank you for letting me know. And that is good to hear. George Malo for $99.99. Holy shit, George, thank you. Happy Memorial Day, Gary, to you and your family. Thank you, my friend. Woke is a hate cult. They cheat because they can't compete. Being missing your live streams, just checked back and was lucky. Keep punching. Love your show. Come down to Texas. Hail Nerdrotic. George, we might. All this for a director's cut, says Mr. Gentleman. Yes, for a goddamn director's cut. That's all this is. A Planetary Step YouTube channel, The Smoke 007. Thank you, The Smoke 007. So the channel he was asking you to check out is A Planetary Step. Thank you for the $2. Wanting to say long live Bird of Prey and Hail Karaga. And I've read that one. Okay. And thank you again, George Malo, for the $99.99. Thank you again for everyone for the super chats. Clobbering Times, thank you for becoming a member. Elbin85 for 100 Mexican dollars. I have mixed feelings about the Snyder Cut. The good thing is we are getting it. Looks like a win for the fans, but it's Snyder, man. I don't like his work at all. Not even his DC stuff. And that's fine. It's a win for the fans. You don't have to be a fan of the movie. It's just a sign. When two things happen like this, that means we are making progress. What did we ask after after the director from Sonic listened to the fans? He changed Sonic. I didn't care about Sonic, but I am now a fan of this director because he listened. And then I said, okay, we need this to happen again. And it just happened again. Then it becomes something real. For $50, hail, I have a challenge for the Access Media. Come out to my ranch and work for 3 days in the beef industry with my 14-year-old Army vet, with a 14-year Army vet and 30-plus year rancher for a boss. One day, and you'll be crying like a biznatch. One day before lunch break, Keller Ranch for $50 before lunch break. These pansies have not worked a day in their life. And who knows, they might have to. Again, if you work in the Access Media, it's an honorable thing to do to go to vocational school, learn a trade. There's a lot of trades out there that pay very well. Mechanic. Every dealership is dying for a mechanic. Learn how to work on cars. You can learn how to work on a Tesla. You would make a ton of money working on a Tesla. They are dying for women too. They want women mechanics. They would love to have more women representation, but all the women want to be executives. They don't want to actually work as mechanics. There's not enough representation in sanitation or mechanics or street cleaners or, construction. But they all want to be executives and writers and producers and directors in Hollywood. That's good. That's good that there's representation there. Brandon Lucas for £10. The ironic, The Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews for £5. Found some people bashing Stephen Walton's book on Twitter. Yeah, you know what? That's part of the game. You make a creative work, people will criticize it. And you need to man up or woman up and take it. And listen, because some of the criticism might actually be genuine. I mean, if people, that's what I try to do. Especially, it's a tough thing to write. And drawing a cover or drawing a book, you put yourself out there. It's a brave thing to do. The word on the BBC One, it is an amazing show about autism. The A Word on BBC One is an amazing show about autism. I'll check it out. Thank you, Dr. 14 Blu-ray reviews for £5. It's ironic compared to all the fan movements. Snyder Cut fans are completely apolitical. They just wanted a movie, but even they aren't allowed to have what they want. It's just a naked grab of power. Yeah, it is. Brendan Lucas, you're absolutely right for £10. I completely agree with you. This is just a power thing. That's all it is. So I didn't read the whole article. So that was a genuine reaction of me like reading that shit for the first time. And a lot of times that's my reaction to Access Media articles. I can't believe the shit they say out loud. This is dangerous. This sets a precedent. These entitled fans. Fucker, you serve the fans. Fans are what click on your article. You shithead. I actually think Jodie could have been an interesting doctor, but any potential is killed when she ends every other episode with a neoliberal. Oh, God, I can't. When she ends every episode with a neoliberal lecture. It's not even social justice. It's neoliberalism. Ew. Yeah, Brendan Lucas, it's not. Some of it's social justice, Brendan, but it's mostly intersectional feminism. That's what it mostly is. Now, as far as neoliberalism, that might be a thing over in the UK. It's not a term I hear a lot here, but I will defer because I'm not over in the UK. But I hope to be very soon. Thank you, Brendan, for the 10 pounds. I appreciate it. Brian Yoder for $50. This is to support the voice that you shouldn't have. You should thank Collider for making me want to support you, pointing out their shill hypocrisy. Brian Yoder, thank you, Collider. Thank you for driving so many fans over to yours truly here at Nerdrotic, to Geeks and Gamers, to Doomcock, to World Class Bullshitters, to EVS, to Mecha Random 42, to Midnight's Edge, to That Star Wars Girl, to the author Stephen Walton, to Sporking News Podcast. Thank you. To John Talks, to SC Reviews. Everybody, we are all grateful. We should do like a We Are the World thank you video to the Access Media. We really should. Because we owe them everything. We owe them absolutely everything. You know, there's been a lot of help from CBS and Star Trek and BBC, but the Access Media they are the main culprit in all of this. They are the ones who have fanned the flames. They are the ones who the corporations thought had influence, and they did until they fucked it up. And they know they fucked it up. That's why they wrote an article like this. And now, as that guy completed his article and collected his $50 check, his $50 check to destroy whatever credibility he had, I hope it was worth it. I hope you buy a 6-pack of Schaefer. You could probably get a case of Schaefer and drink your miseries away. Or you could try to start a YouTube channel. See how you do over here. Come on over. We'll give you a big old YouTube welcome. The Stone Dog for $5. You never know about a director's cut. A good argument favoring a release is the director's cut of Daredevil compared to the theatrical cut. You are correct. I own the theatrical cut to Daredevil because I think it's good for its time. John Favreau has an expanded role and it makes more sense. What I meant about neoliberalism before was the Space Amazon episode. Space Amazons can stay open only if it's a bit nicer to its workers. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you, Brenda Lucas. I understand now. Thank you. Thank you for the 5 pounds. You could have said that in the chat. Sorry about that. Cheers, mate. All right. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything here, because we're going to wrap things up, folks. Yep, we're going to end it right here. Thank you very much. I'm going to work on my video. Hopefully I can get it done quick. See, eventually what I want to do is have the Nooner and then have a video ready for you like right after. So that's going to take a while. That's going to take a while to have it. Thank you, Alan Tyrrell for the sticker. I appreciate it. Dean Krantz, looking up Roger Young, Medal of Honor, World War II. Thank you. Viking Insane for $2 Canadian. Fiction. How many lives did Cap save? But how many lives did Cap save? Exactly. Happy Real Star Wars Day, says Mark C. for $2. Hail. Remember your pressure points, Gary. Woosah, says Matt Guy for £2. Yes, indeed. So Cap should have been. God, I missed this whole thing. Jumped on me. This was not here before. So hang on, we're not gone yet, folks. Hang on. Hey Gary, thanks for sticking up for me earlier on Twitter when I wore a Cyberfrog shirt to the comic shop. I'm still shocked this happened. Hunter Grendel for $4.99. Was that you? Was that you? Holy shit. Okay, yeah. So somebody walked into a shop with the Cyberfrog shirt. Sorry, there's a whole bunch of super chats I got to read, so I'm not going anywhere. And somebody tweeted that, oh, somebody's in here with a Cyberfrog shirt. Somebody give me some talking points. You know, the kinds I mean. And I shot back just saying, you know, talking points like, what should I say to the guy with a Cyberfrog shirt if you're in a comic shop? It should be, hello, welcome. My name's Gary. I'm from let me know if I can help you find anything. I'm from this comic shop. Let me know if I can help you find anything. Is there anything I can help you find? Hello, hope you're having a good day. That's what you say. Instead, this ended up biting him in the ass, and I guess the comic shop owner apologized on Twitter, which is good. God damn, this whole fucking thing jumped on me. How ridiculous is this? All right, hang on, folks. Jeff Foxworthy type definition of othering. Honey, can you get the othering out of my jewelry box? This one clashes with my new outfit. Keller Ranch, thank you for the $10. I haven't heard Jeff Foxworthy in a long time. You know, comedy's kind of dead. It's kind of dead. A Viking Insane for $2 Canadian. JLP already knows being synthetic. Duh. Locutus, right? People say that we're the cause of the failure of Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard, but as Worf said, you cannot tarnish a rusted blade. It was prepackaged crap. Yep, you are right. Jody Bowie, LOL, thanks, Gary. I'm almost 4 on the East Coast. It's almost 4 on the East Coast. It's probably almost 5 now. Leia used the Force to guide the proton torpedoes. Captain Spire for $2. Viking Insane for $2 Canadian. Steve Rogers interviewed Ricky about Garbage Land. That's probably in reference to what I was talking about earlier with the Steve Rogers article. CBR, concussed brain damage reporting. Yes, Drake is sick. You are correct for $2. Will Gentry, Captain Rogers didn't let a disabled trans person become Captain America. Of course he's selfish, the dang bigot. This took editing to get through. LOL. It's okay. Hiram for $5. Captain America wasn't fictional. His name was Audie Murphy. Steve Rogers is an insult to his memory. Well, the one from Endgame, maybe. Hey, Gary, thanks for sticking up to my early... I already read that one. What the fuck? Steve didn't know what the outcome of changing his life forever would be. All he wanted to do was help the world to save lives. If becoming the hero is wrong or selfish, then all heroes are selfish. Go F yourself, buddy, says Jody Boy for $20. Yep, absolutely. Dean Krantz for $2. Roger Young. Well, I can't look at... I know Audie Murphy and Roger Young. Those are true heroes. We had actual Captain Americas out there, and they weren't Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is a fictional character. And that's a tasteless article to write on Memorial Day. CBR wrote an article stating that Captain America was selfish. Steve Rogers was selfish for wanting to become Captain America, which is stupid. A Shadowy Sage for $9.99. So Cap should have been a bitch. Hide from the Nazis, not face the Red Skull, selfishness personified. I have never heard anything more bitch made. Yes, it's true. The man has no dick. The man has no dick. He is dickless. I hear you owned a comic shop with Ray Finkel. No, I did not. Not with Ray Finkel. For Zero Duality for $2 Canadian. In true true-to-life fashion, Sir Stuart did this to himself and created cuckold Picard. Sovsborg, yes. Yes, unfortunately, you did. The Pragmatics of Patriotism. Please find and read The Pragmatics of Patriotism. Says, Hiram for $2. Thank you. Judo Cricket for $20. It's okay and even good to debate why America goes to war and whether or not we should. When the debate changes to whether the soldiers are worth it when they go and come home is when it's a problem. Exactly. Well said. When someone as kind as Starry Girl feels the need to walk away from Twitter, it's time for all to go. Nerdy Nazgul for £5. Yes. I will be leaving that platform. And yes, it's probably not even smart to do it. But I like the positive interactions. But every time I go there, listen, let's go there right now. Just as a test. It probably won't work this time. But just as a test, let's go to my Twitter. How long will it take to see something Orange Man bad? It looks okay now. They're talking about the Steve Rogers article. And it's all about the Steve Rogers article. That's good. At least it's not about Orange Man. I knew when I went there it would be a bad example. But 9 times out of 10 when I go there, it's fucking Orange Man. Now, I've tried to curate that out of my Twitter by unfollow. I've unfollowed a lot of comic creators, even ones I know, because I'm just tired of talking to them here and talk about the Orange Man. I don't block or mute anybody, but I will unfollow somebody. If they start whinging about the Orange Man every fucking 5 minutes, I'm done with it. Okay, we got to wrap things up here, so I'm going to get through these. Altfit, Patrick Stewart swapped his Earl Grey for a soy latte. You're right, for £5. He certainly did. I'm late to chat. What happened to Luke? Latino slant for $1.99. Well, in a graphic novel that came out 2 years ago, they feminized the hell out of Luke. You have to look at the whole graphic novel because it's not just Luke. It's every single character. Mr. Dastardly for $5 Canadian. Hail, Gary. What are your thoughts on the Dark Multiverse Batman Nightfall story? I'm looking for something to read after Damned and White Knight. I haven't read that. Well, you mean Batman Nightfall like from back in the day? Dark Multiverse. Batman Nightfall from like Batman, I would read. Oh, hell yeah, that's good. But I haven't read anything new in quite some time. Except for White Knight, and I haven't even read Curse of the White Knight yet. I got so pissed at comic books, I gave them up for like a year. But I have White Knight here somewhere. Yeah, I got my White Knights. I would, if you want to read something old that you haven't read before, I mean, I would dig into some real old stuff and get into anything by Denny O'Neil or Jim Starlin run, which was right after Frank Miller's Year One. That was Jim Starlin, right? I think it was Jim Starlin. No, or was it Englehart? One of the two. But I would read anything after, or read Year One, Batman issue 400. Anything after 400 is fucking great. They introduce Jason Todd and stuff. It's a good run. I like it a lot. Lead us up to Death in the Family. Gary, your analysis and commentary is consistently excellent. Oh, well, thank you. I don't know about that, but Malachi Gallagher, thank you for the 10 pounds. I do my best. Geeks and Games, shut up. Jeremy, stop it. Jeremy gave me $20, says Nerdrotic. Hail, Jeremy. Phoenix de Black, Koenig der Miserablen. Oh my God. How am I supposed to say this name? I'm going to say Phoenix de Black, and then it says Koenig der Miserablen Vernitz for £5. The BBC only took Chris because they made Broadchurch, don't you know? I did. They skipped Mark Gatiss for his turd. Pond Life is the only good thing he made. I was never a big Mark Gatiss fan. No, Adventures in Space Time is good, and he did that. Hail the Menace, hail Spartan Gary, hail. Yeah, that meme was cool as hell. Thank you very much. I will end it with that when we get to that. I have a FaceTime bill meeting. Always welcome. Well, thank you, Latino Slant. Maybe someday. And thank you, Zero Duality, Mech 1164. The only way to really retcon is to be honest and say the prime alternate universe. Otherwise, this isn't going anywhere. That would fix a lot of problems with Star Trek if they just said it was in their prime universe. Joseph Nash for $5. When you feel the need to drink, you can call me. The universe will sing you to sleep through me. Awesome. Thanks. I haven't had that need, but you never know. It can come up. Stories of heroes have excited longer than the SJWs who try to destroy them. Well, we will endure. Exactly. All right. So it looks like I caught up. Yep, I caught up. Okay. Sorry I missed those guys earlier. So we got some last ones here at the end. Steve Watkins for £2. Here's my 200 cents. As you were. Thank you. Appreciate it. Snell World for $5. I would rather see the George Lucas cut of episode 9 than JJ's cut. I'm glad we get to see Snyder's version of the movie. Yeah, I am too. And if it sucks, I'll tell you. Adam Child, Texas sounds great. Looking to going to Dallas. I left California for Oregon, and now we're in the damn Western states packed. Let's get out of this coastal states. Yes, by the way, they aren't supposed to do that. They are not supposed to do that. There is no states that are supposed to have packs. They're getting away with a lot of shit that's fucking illegal right now. And they want to stay closed down the rest of the year. I don't think they'll be able to, but they want to. So, but I hope your situation is good. We're going to end it right there. I've got a video to make. I am sorry I missed the super chats earlier. Shit. And I will be back Wednesday at noon for the next Nerdrotic Nooner. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. I will be on Az's channel, bagging and boarding some comics. So join us then. And then later that night, 25,000 subscribers celebration on Nerdrotic Live. We'll just go like 90 minutes, couple hours. And you know what? Just talk about whatever. We'll talk about whatever. So thank you very much. Have a good day. Not all who wander are lost. I can say that. And may the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Ciao, Bella.